Oh, hey guys, welcome to Clash Royale League Asia Week 6, day number 3. It is exciting time for Clash Royale because we have Asia, West, and China playoff at the same time. So it's going to be exciting, packed action for you guys. My name is G Clef, and this guy right here, the best, maybe not the best, ending life. How are you doing?
Yes, we are excited. You're super excited because, yes, as you mentioned, West, China, and Asia at the same time. Just too much. You can never get too much Clash Royale, right? So I've been watching West. It's exciting, and I love their setup, to be honest. I was talking to you about it. You know, they're sitting on top of the King Tower. I was like, oh, man, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's a gigantic King Tower. They go up, and then with the super cool AR technology, you see the game right inside the center. I wonder if we are going to ever have that.
Yeah.
I just want to test that. I just want to go up there, and then maybe we'll fly to US and then come back.
Yeah.
Just to check out the stage?
And then I want to see the players actually like throw like goblin barrels. Boom.
No. it's a little too heavy for you to actually throw. Here come the standings though. Only 5 more days, including today, left in the regular season. Guys, not too many days left for Asia. I know China's wrapping up for the playoff. West just started, but for us, only 5 more days for these teams. Of course, they don't really get to play all 5 days because we go around only 3 matches per day. So what you see on the screen, I think they may actually just be it. Top 4 from each group will advance to the playoff in coming 2 weeks. But for Sandbox Destination at the bottom of Group A, OP.GAMING, Kings on DragonX, they're not totally out to be in that top 4. They really have to win everything else that they have.
Yeah, and this is the matchup, and a couple of teams here, they will decide whether, you know, they have a chance of getting out of the bottom of the tier or stay in that first place or the second place, because yeah, not only top 4 is important, but being whether you're first or second is very important because that depends and that determines whether you make it straight to the semifinals, straight to the quarterfinals, or you have to go from the best of 8 and then make your way all the way up to the quarterfinals.
Yes.
So everything is on the line for even the top 4 teams.
Yes, and as we know, the patch is going to hit very soon. So next week's going to be finding out what the meta is, what the best deck is with the newest patch. We're going to have some cards. Of course, we'll talk about that later on, but this match is important. Bren Esports dropping their one against Chaos Theory last time was certainly the big one. Against OP.GAMING, I think this is really the match they should be taking away from them.
Yeah, and you know, as you see the players on screen, we saw Toby come onto the stage. It's been a while since we saw him. Well, for me at least, we saw him last time, but since I casted, and finally Toby is back. We'll see what he got for us. Whether he'll be playing King of the Hill as a 4th member, or will he be in that 1v1s? We don't know, but let's hope that he does well today because it's been a while since I casted him.
Yeah, that's right. And OP.GAMING, this squad is getting their power. It took a little too long for them to actually climb up a little higher in their group. Jack winning the 1v1, certainly the importance, and Kentsumeshi, Kitashan, the duo having really powerful moments, especially when they started using that tornado with that giant skeleton. Let's see if tornado is even allowed or not. Because in the West, it's always there. It always comes out, and they show powerful moves like the player we have from FOB all around.
Alright, well, there's the handshake. We'll get the 2v2 players on stage now. But like I said, there are some teams, especially FOB in this matchup, needs to win if they want to try for that top 4 because every single game matters from today. And Bren Esports already being at the top of Group A. You know, they're secure for the top 4. They're just trying to work for whether they're going to be first or second. OP.GAMING, everything is on the line. If they do bad today and their next game, they may just go home.
As what you see on the screen is what it is. Okay, tornado is allowed actually with these two, but even with that tornado, giant skeletons also banned along with that royal giant. So maybe we're moving away into some lavas, golem. There are some other heavy ones that we can see with tornadoes allowed, but for 1v1, nope. And a Sparky ban from Jack. That's not the most common card, but right now in the ladder, and there are a few decks with Sparkies. This handle, even there's a deck with Royal Giant Sparky, which is one of the ones that's actually breaking through the Golem decks we've seen from the playoffs from the China just yesterday or day before. So I think that maybe those are the reasons Sparky is climbing up just a little higher, just reducing down all the things they can do.
Yep, and they are playing rock, paper, scissors. I guess they're deciding, you know, they have 2 decks, but they're deciding which deck that they're gonna play each maybe. But yeah, you know, this is very entertaining to see that we get to see players enjoy.
I know exactly what's happening. The winner gets to use the tornado from the team because tornado's not banned.
Yeah.
Okay, who's gonna use it? I want to use it. You want to use it? Rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah. That is definitely the possibility. Here we have Kentsumeshi and Kitashan. Kentsumeshi played a lot more 2v2s. You can see on his record, Kitashan actually has a little bit better of a record because he went, you know, back and forth playing it. But we'll see how this duo make it because as you know it, OP.GAMING, compared to Bren Esports, where trainer Ken and Mano JP stayed as 2v2 for a very long time, whereas OP.GAMING, Kentsumeshi, and Kitashan, they've been swapping around to find that better 2v2 combination.
Yeah, just a little bit. And for Kentsumeshi, Kitashan, they've been using a lot more Inferno Dragon along with the Magic Archer sometimes. So there are some differences. We are already ready for that game 1. Set number 1 between Bren Esports, OP.GAMING. OP.GAMING on top in red, Bren Esports at the bottom in blue. Remember, no giant skeleton, no royal giant.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw, you know, double lava with miners.
Yes, and Kitashan uses a lot of miner in 2v2. Even Zack is coming out a few times. Well, we were expecting it, so OP.GAMING tricking the mine a little bit, expecting that golem, and see, Magic Archer again.
Yeah.
It's something unique that OP.GAMING, basically only OP.GAMING has been trying in 2v2.
Alright, there is that offensive poison to try to get rid of that Magic Archer. The Golem is getting through. The Prince poking at the P.E.K.K.A. Okay, now it's attacking the Prince. Prince, but I was gonna say if the Prince constantly attacks the P.E.K.K.A. and the P.E.K.K.A. follows a Golem, the P.E.K.K.A. would have died, but this time around the P.E.K.K.A. is a little bit smart, gets rid of the Prince first.
Already the Golem against P.E.K.K.A. is not a good news for Bren Esports. Let's see how many Golems they have. If they have 2 Golems and OP.GAMING, if they only have a single P.E.K.K.A., they can kind of have an out-cycle moment where the other Golem will be not getting harassed by the P.E.K.K.A. too much and the Mega Knight to counter that.
So you may be
Even
correct.
better.
No, but still, I think a double P.E.K.K.A. against a double Golem is probably a better matchup than a Mega Knight. But either way, we'll see if OP.GAMING is able to make it work with just one P.E.K.K.A. But there is that minor.
Oh, with that rage, the defensive freeze has to be used. Bren Esports, they're actually really happy, okay?
Yeah.
A lot more
Oh my
elixirs, even
goodness.
plus some more damage from the Mega Minions. That's great. I mean, the Golem doesn't really make it, but if your Miner's connecting, if your Mega Minions, the heavy ones in the air, are connecting to the towers, defensive freeze, they know what's coming later on. So Bren Esports are really happy they have grabbed themselves in this game.
Exactly. Bren Esports just seeing the freeze itself, whether it be offensive or defensive, this early in the game will give them the idea of how to play around it. Now we have that double Prince in the back. The Magic Archer actually split apart so it doesn't get poisoned, and it is still doing the damage.
And a great tornado to get that maximum value from that Magic Archer, plus some area damage from the Mega Knight. Great defense, but they can't really go through. OP.GAMING, they should be the one pushing through and using that tornado so that they can hit the units and the tower together later on. But so far, not really finding their best defense.
All right, that's an early tornado just to try get the Musketeer.
Lumberjack goes straight. Just one shot. But still the rage on Miner and Golem all together.
The Miner actually gets distracted by the units, but the Lightning gets rid of it. And the explosion damage does go in. 492 left.
Finally, the Ram Rider does come out from OP.GAMING, but is it too late? And there's that Inferno Tower. Bren Esports, they were ready for whatever was going to come out later on, the Mega Knight. And not going to do too much. 2 Prince.
Yeah, usually, we would have seen the Inferno Tower come out a little bit earlier with the Mega Knight and the P.E.K.K.A., but Bren Esports played such great defense that they could have held it together without showing the Inferno Tower, and that Ram Rider was straight countered by that Inferno Tower.
And Ram Rider again, but it may be too late with that Lightning to finish off 192 on top left. Bren Esports grabbed that first game of 2v2. What a clean game with C, and the moment we saw P.E.K.K.A., okay, that might be a little trouble for Bren Esports, but they had 2. Plus on that, they had all the other cards to make it better.
Yeah. The logs and the tornado was definitely worked better because Bren Esports as well as FAV, they both use a tornado. However, the Magic Archer tornado, it definitely worked well to get one of the Golem pushes as perfect defense. However, Bren Esports, they knew what they were doing with their tornado as well. They got rid of the early Musketeers, and I called it out saying that that was a little too early. However, that forced OP.GAMING to put down extra units that they weren't thinking of putting down, which kind of caught them off guard.
I almost forgot that Bren Esports actually activated the King Tower of OP.GAMING. It almost seemed like it didn't even matter too much because they were pushing so well. And now they're placing the Miner to keep the Lumberjack away from the Golem up more times. Just wonderful, even if the Miner is not connecting. Either the Miner connects or the Golem connects sometimes, even with the death damage, which didn't happen too much. But the other units, like the Mega Minion, they had their ways of pushing. And in terms of defense, Bren Esports, they didn't even have to really use too much elixirs to defend.
Exactly, because they didn't. So when there's a P.E.K.K.A. and a Mega Knight on your opposing side, usually that Inferno Tower comes out a little bit earlier than it did in this game, but the defense was so great.
Let's see if they can make that happen. Once again, Bren Esports up 1-0 OP.GAMING. This Magic Archer not the answer in 2v2.
It is possible, and I'm pretty sure they most likely change their decks up. We'll see what kind of decks they brought. There we go. Now we have the Lava coming through.
So usually we don't see Lava too many times when the tornado is there, because against tornado the pups just get dragged away from the tower and just fades really quickly. This time, let's see what else they want to focus.
Alright, so it seems like OP.GAMING is allowing the Lava Hound to get through, and there we go, the tornado that you spoke about. but the Mega Minion still gets rid of so many units in its way. Only the E-Wiz stays alive, and this isn't the counter push. After you defend, right, you want more than just the E-Wiz to come across the bridge.
Yep.
But this time around, only E-Wiz is alive. Lava Baby Dragon, and we do see that counter attack coming through with the Ram Rider on the other side with the Lumberjack in front.
Yep, OP.GAMING had the Earthquake to get down the Inferno Tower and the Ram Rider because of the stun from the E-Wizard, not really going to connect to the tower at all. But the second lava ran already onto that tower on the top right. Lumberjack doing work, but Rage.
Oh, Rage the Mega Minion as well. This is not
Tornado's
good.
being held, but even before that takes too much damage and an offensive lightning from Bren Esports, connecting a few more shots to the tower. And the charge.
And a hit.
That's basically tower gone with any poison or lightning.
I just saw Kentsumeshi like cover his face with his hand. He's like, oh no.
Yeah, it's certainly not going good for OP.GAMING at all.
Yeah. Now Bren just has to focus on the left side with a double lava and just constantly pressure OP.GAMING so they can't, you know, counterattack. But there we go with the early P.E.K.K.A. and the Dark Knight. Dark Prince. Oh my god, this is my first time calling it Dark Knight. I never made that mistake, ever.
I'm a big fan of Batman too.
Oh my god.
Okay, Dark Prince going straight into it. Yeah, I almost felt that too at the same time. But good drag.
All right.
And also have Inferno Tower, not going to be the biggest attack here as the E-Wizard is so good at slowing down and everything. Manon GP, Trainer, they're feeling it here.
Ooh, that bridge counter with the Ram and the P.E.K.K.A.
But the Inferno Tower is still up there, so it's going to buy some time. And the offensive poison from OP.GAMING. The Rider did connect a few shots.
But look at the King Tower go down.
Still a lot of HP left from the bottom left. 1208. OP.GAMING, they don't have big spells to really have their own attack for 20 seconds. P.E.K.K.A. will be slow. You're counting on Ram Rider only.
Okay, Tornado, they want to put the Inferno Tower down. There we go. There it is. And we are probably going to get the guard down when that cycle comes through. There we go. And now it's just over.
With that freeze, we're seeing a lot more freeze in 2v2. But that's a 2-0 victory for Bren Esports after dropping their 2v2 against Chaos. They're back.
Oh, look at that. Oh, dab at them haters. But yeah, Bren Esports, very clean. We saw game 1 and game 2. They switched their decks. They didn't stick to their winning decks, and they were able to still come out on top with 2 different decks.
Damn, they're so good. I mean, they dropped their 2v2 last time.
Yeah.
I think they learned another lesson. They have to really get down the teamwork. In terms of the deck choice also, OP.GAMING, usually when there are a lot of Ram Riders in the deck with the P.E.K.K.A., there's usually a mix of lightning, either freeze or lightning, but when you're pushing, when you're having the charge against the Inferno Tower, which is very expected, you do have that lightning a lot more. Freeze, it's a lot more for the balloons and the direct attack with the lava or the golems these days.
Yeah.
So towards the combination, I think maybe it worked in their own practice, but in terms of the meta cards, I think OP.GAMING needed more lightning instead of freeze.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. And for the freeze, like, you know, sometimes we even see that a lot with the Hog Rider if you're going to do that in the 2v2 as well. But either way, it did not work out for OP.GAMING, so very unfortunate. A 2-0 loss, a clean win by Bren. And in this second game, we did have the Earthquake as well, and just one Tornado for that Lava Hound. And there was a moment where they didn't have the Tornado in cycle, so one of the Lava Hounds and the Pups did a ton of damage. I think that was the second push after this one. This one, okay, so maybe it is this one. This one and the next push, the second and the third. So that's how the Princess Tower went down, and the King Tower was under 50% HP because, you know, the Tornado cycle was out, and OP.GAMING was focused and bridge spamming on the left side to try to get that one Princess Tower to tie it up.
Lovely games. And Bren Esports, they're off to a great start from the first set. Now we have Toby Spirit Hawk with that Tornado ban. And Toby really didn't really use Sparky too much. But still, the meta is calling for a few more Sparky because, especially Asia, in terms of how heavy the deck is, China's a lot more heavier compared to Asia. A lot more Golems, a lot more Royal Giants. Asia, we have a lot more light Hog Rider decks and Royal Giant decks. A lot lighter Royal Giant decks just coming out. 2.9 cycle has been coming out so much in the CRL West as well, and just this morning. Let's see if Asia is willing to adapt that really quickly, because today's the last day with this current patch.
Yep, we'll have to see what Jack brings out, because yeah, he has his ups and downs. His record is positive for 1v1. He had one of those legendary days, 5 straight wins. However, ever since that day, he has been kind of shaken up. Like, he had wins and losses at the same time. Like, it didn't feel as if it was that Jack that we knew, that we were hyped up for. So we'll see if he'll get back to his shape today.
And another interesting fact, when Jack lost his Tornado, when that card was banned from the opponent, 0% win rate. And it's the same from Toby's Spirit Hawk this time. Let's see if Jack is willing. Jack can actually break that curse. And I think Toby really sniped that hard. Jack often using or banning some small cheap spells, like the Barbarian Barrel or the Snowball. But this time a Sparky.
Well, Toby does have a history of using Sparky. He used the Giant Goblin Sparky deck with the Lumberjack in the past, so maybe that is why Jack didn't want to kind of... You have one of those cards, a few of those cards that you really just don't want to face against, and maybe Sparky is one of them.
Okay, Jack's Health Cycle.
Okay, Hog Cycle versus a Lava. And in a Hog, we do have that Infernal Tower.
Even though the first one was locked, she's not really worried, but with the balloons, maybe a little bit more.
Okay, the Infernal Tower was baited on the right side. There we go. Toby zaps, and unfortunately, it won't get a drop. However, the death damage will clean up the archers and do some damage to the Princess Tower.
I was thinking if Jack was going to willing to sacrifice a little more. That Snowball did come out really late, but anyhow, the archers were going to get popped by the death damage of the balloon. And that was a good defense. But when Barbarian is not in Toby's hands, I think that's the real question. Good defense with the Tombstone this time. So both players trying to find the cycle to attack in.
They both know, especially Toby. He knows how to go up against the cycle deck. It's not only Jack that uses Hog Cycles. You know, it's all over the ladder. It's all over your friends. So he definitely knows, you know, he doesn't need the Barbarian all the time to defend against it. But there we go. The Lava is put down, which means it's go time for Jack on the other side.
With the Ice Gold. Ice.
Still 2 hits.
Doing a little too more. Even with those Barbarians put down. So Toby really needs to focus on this one. Jack's got a lot. And Inferno actually pointed at a little bit more towards the right. He really wants to focus the Lava only, not drag the balloon at all.
Alright, so here we go. The balloon, it seems pretty healthy. The Snowball does go down, but it's still going to get a drop. There we go.
Yes, it will. But the counter Hog,
alright,
with that Earthquake, it leads to Tombstone. No Barbarians yet. Just one scratch.
Yeah, but that initial attack before this one with the Hog Rider getting, I think, 3 swings was too big for Toby.
Even Barb.
Oh my gosh, even the Barb.
Jack is really forcing Toby to use another card for those for that Barbarian Barrel, because most of his units are actually air.
Alright, so that Hog is going to get a swing or two. Oh, it's actually going to get the Princess Tower down. The Infernal Tower put right at the bridge.
Snowball will be ready for Jack. He's waiting for the perfect time. Not even needed. Only 7 more seconds. What can Toby do?
Oh, he's going to wait for it. He's going to wait for it. There we go. Oh, a nice Infernal Tower. Well played.
Jack takes the first one, as a lot of players are keeping their eyes on Jack because this player is so good. Toby had some moments. We even have some lava loon decks with arrows coming out sometimes. Not the most common, of course. He had the fireball, and I believe this is Zap. But this time from Jack, he had a lot quicker cycle. Of course, you have Tombstone, Barbarians, but it's sometimes really tough when you're trying to stack your own set of attacks behind that lava.
Yeah, this one was it. This one was it. With the Ice Golem, with the Hog, where it gets 3 swings even with the Barbarians put down, and that was huge. That bought Jack a huge advantage. And also, for Toby, to kind of commend him a little bit, he had the right idea to put the lava on one side to drag that Infernal Tower, and then do the Barb balloon on the other side. And it's just, you know, Jack had the right idea. He knew exactly how to face it, how to counter it with the Hog Rider to kind of, yeah, I'll allow the death damage, but I'm still gonna let my Hog do 2 to through swings every time.
Yeah, those were the big moments where Toby actually used a zap onto archers to let the balloon drop once again. But Jack was willing to take that shot to have his own Hog Rider push even before that balloon went down, so that Toby doesn't really have enough elixirs because of that zap. So these players really knowing what to trade, if you can make it better with that cycle. But Jack just having an outrageous moment with that Earthquake against a Tombstone, gets the Tombstone and also the Skeletons right after. So great spell to choose, great deck choice. Toby just staring at him for a second. Let's see what you bring in game 2, because I got my stuff ready.
Maybe Toby's looking whether Jack touches his phone or he doesn't. Because if he doesn't touch his phone, that means it's the same deck. So Toby's looking. He's like, all right, if he touches the phone, I'm going to change my deck too. If not, I'm going to do something else, whatever, to counter it. But we'll see what happens.
No, but you just have to go from 1 to 2.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, he did lose. We have a set deck because all the teams gets to find the ban cards 90 minutes before the match. So we do have a setup before. You don't really need to go on stage and do this in 1 minute. That's not enough time.
Yeah.
That's why we reduced down the 3 minutes into 1 instead, because all the players and team, they're ready with that ban card. Oh. Yeah, with much time beforehand.
Okay. Seems like Jack has the win, and OP.GAMING definitely has to tie this up to go to King of the Hills if they don't want to get eliminated. Well, not eliminated.
Yeah, but OP.GAMING, they seriously need a match win today.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Yep.
So Jack, maybe he can have a 2-0, but we'll see. Skeletons, still the same. Guards.
Nice call.
Still can be lots of lava, never mind. With that miner, we can push just a little bit more, force out another Barbarian Barrel.
There we go, answering with his own miner.
Even if the tornado's banned, he's having that safe miner placement, just in case of a snowball or something.
Yep. Let's get here. Oh, he's bringing out the bowler. So in the past, I think at least this year in Phase 1, only Raya has played the bowler, I think 3 times. And finally, Toby kind of adapts to it, brings out the bowler himself and the giant.
Yeah, with that giant, and this might be the Earthquake that Toby actually has in here. So in terms of...
There we go.
Yeah, then gets in front of the tower, it's great. Locks onto the giant now, and there was one more right before that, but still, there are too many defending from Jack's side.
Oh, I thought it was going to get a punch, but it almost did. It didn't. So great defense coming from Jack, even though Toby was ready for that Inferno Tower.
Slightly a little too late. Toby wants to have a big setup on the left. I think he was hesitating because he already did about 400 damage to the right. To really spend this bowler, heavy elixir one, to the left.
There we go. Oh, unfortunately, the prediction with the skeletons did not distract the miner this time around, so we'll get a little bit more swings in. We'll see how Jack decides to counter here.
Actually, not bad for Toby because Jack spells. If he has a poison and the follow-up, it may actually be sealed for the rest of the game, unless he has a really good follow-up. There's a balloon.
Balloon miner. Oh, the Mega Minion doesn't look at the miner. Rather, it looks straight for the balloon.
After the miner, it will. But let's see the damage.
Ooh.
Still gets the death damage onto the tower. So Jack's happy with that.
Okay. There we go. Ooh, the Inferno Tower actually does reach to the miner, so it'll go down fast. But the E-Wiz goes down as well, so this Giant is not going to be doing too much. But this Mega Minion is going to be a huge problem for Jack.
Let's follow up. And death damage not onto E-Wizard, so Toby can actually follow up big time. Good prediction with the snowball, but doesn't really get all the skeletons on the back. So forces Musketeer. With that slow, some more damage from the miner, but Toby's off to a... Ooh, maybe a wrong read on that miner tracking. But he also had the guards to defend. I think it's because he really wants to set up on the left, which took a lot more damage.
Oh, he's doing a split now. Focusing a little bit more to the right side with the miner connecting to the tower. The chip damage is real, and the bowler will help get rid of that Inferno Tower. However, the Giant does go down. Double bowler on the left.
The bowler great to keep all the units away from the tower, especially the miner. But still, it's really hard. The cost is a lot higher, and it's a big one, so it drops a lot.
Alright, so Giant on the right. Giant Miner and the chip is what Toby is looking for, especially on the right side. But he has to defend the left. That one Mega Minion is not going to be
Snowball
enough.
push.
The Miner chip damage is big as
With
well.
that drop, that's it. Jack's Snowball to follow up and pushing that Mega Minion was just enough. These snowballs are just making the game so differently. There's that Goblin Muscle coming out from Jack. Yep, I've got my team. We're going to that King of the Hill.
Alright, congrats to Jack. He saves his team once again, even though, he didn't lose any. However, 2-0, 2-0 for the first 2 sets. King of the Hill, we'll see how this goes because now it's up for grabs. Bren Esports, they don't want to lose to OP.GAMING because OP.GAMING in Group B, they're 5th place. Bren Esports, basically a secured 2nd. But if they lose now, we never know what's going to happen because, yeah, OP.GAMING is 4 and 5, so they're not going to kind of contest Bren Esports, but still, they want to keep that record clean, and game width is already 7 and 2.
And Toby really bringing Barbarians right now because we don't really see Fireballs too much. Like, we see a lot more other spells,
Yeah.
Earthquake, Lightning, and there's so many different ones. Snowball Zap, even the Long, but not too many Fireballs. That's why he brings out his Barbarians, good against the Hogs, especially good against the Royal Giant. Sometimes you have the perfect defense with the Snowball, and you can have your own push with those Barbarians, basically. But Jack not really going for that heavy push at all. It's really hurt Toby's deck choice.
Yeah, Toby had to choose which side in Game 1, not this game. In Game 1, he had to choose which side he's going to put the heavy units down, whereas Jack was light, he was going to get the chip damage. But in this second game, it was just going back and forth with the Miner. Great defense on both sides in the early games. However, later, Jack figured out that Toby was very low on Elixir, so he sends that Miner balloon on the left, and only that one Mega Minion is not enough to defend both the chip damage from the Miner and the bomb drop from the balloon.
And here we go. Marong DP, Toby Spirit Hawk, draw in order. Nani, Jack, Kentsumeshi from OP.GAMING. The bans are Baby Dragon and Prince. It locks out a lot, and which brings out a lot more Musketeers. Right now, the decks that we've seen from the 3 Musketeer, just replace it with 1, and a lot more Battle Rams coming out with the Collector. That's another possibility. And Prince can be locked away. We only have the Dark Prince anyhow.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter too much.
So
Yeah, yes it does, but Dark Prince is the way right now.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot more Dark Princes. And Baby Dragon also, what I think when I see a Baby Dragon, the first thing that comes to mind is the Baby Dragon goes very well with heavy decks. But now that you don't have the Baby Dragon, yeah, you may replace it with the Musketeer or something else, but still, it's not gonna do the job like the Baby Dragon does with the splash damage and also kind of soaking in some damage as well. So we'll see what these players will decide to bring out. I'm thinking a lot more Cycle decks.
Yep, there were a lot more, especially from the China playoff, a lot more Goblin Giant Sparky deck because of how heavy the decks were, especially the Golem decks in 1v1. I'm just talking about 1v1 right now.
Yeah.
A lot more Golem Double Prince, Golem Sparky. So there were crazy decks, so we had more Sparkies coming out. Like the old one with the Hunter, the Goblin Giant Sparky Hunter deck. And even after that, some Royal Hog plus Mortar, I think that's really catching on within a lot of the players, not just in Asia, in China, and also the West. So in terms of what we have for King of the Hill, I think they can actually go in and say, okay, I'm going to split my action with those piggies, and then just bring one tower down, and then I'm going to face against whoever comes up next. Those are really good, just one-trick cheese to go on here.
Yeah, we'll have to see whether or not they'll bring, the spell bait, the super fast cycle, or even the heavier deck with the Sparky, like you were mentioning. So I'm very curious with these bans.
Marong DP ready in blue at the bottom. Donnie from OP.GAMING. Donnie not really playing 1v1 in a set too much. Usually just comes out for the King of the Hill.
Far Barrel reply with the Q is.
Let's see what they focus a little bit more on. T-Wiz just goes in every single deck, just like the Mega Minion. Here's a Battle Ram, but what does it pair up with? Because it's all the way, it's not a bridge spam that we see usually. after we have a push, usually with the Bandit and with the P.E.K.K.A on one side and the Batarang going towards the other. Here's that Golem that we've been seeing so much.
Luckily, Donnie does have that P.E.K.K.A in his hand, and that P.E.K.K.A is going to cause a lot of trouble for that Golem.
But what else with the Golden Inferno Dragon? Perfect response from Manong GP.
The Ewiz and the Zap comes down to cancel the laser from the Inferno Dragon. We'll see how far the Golem gets. Only the death damage from the Golem might get on it.
Danny has a Zap instead of the Snowball. That's a great choice, but Manong GP also have the E-Dragon. So a lot of stuns coming out, but still this is one of the bigger pushes. Coming down straight into it.
E-Dragon's so good if you had the stacked units that's coming in like Donnie's right now.
Yeah, even with that rage, going to have a successful defense here. Bandit just so great against all the Prince and Dark Prince charges.
I think it was 2 weeks ago where we saw a lot of E-Dragons come out, and we saw the E-Dragon connecting and forcing and, you know, hitting the King Tower, right, with the connections. And ever since that, E-Dragons went back in for a couple days, and now finally it has come back. We'll see if it'll activate the King Tower again.
Yeah, even with the E-Dragon, the trend has been Golem Deck with Lightning Spell.
Yeah.
Less common with the E-Dragon, but still, there are a lot of spells that can just break through. And we hit the minute mark, the final minute mark, and the bridge spam onto the right side.
Alright, the Tornado will break the battle ramp.
Did the drag, now the Golemites do connect. P.E.K.K.A is a great way to defend. It's not perfect from Donnie's side, but not really too much damage taken. But the Chain Lightning is actually going into the tower.
And the Dark Prince on the right side does land and get at least 4 swings onto that Princess Tower. It's going to cause so much damage.
Yeah, both the Lumberjacks, Manong actually having the Mega Minion going to the right. That might have been a mistake. Let's see. This defense is still really good with that chain. Stuns, but too many units going to the left tower. That's some damage as he was leading the game, but with that Mega Minion going to the right.
It took a little longer for Manong GP to clear that bunch of units coming from Donnie here. We'll see if a different kind of push will come through, because at least for Manong GP, he can work both left and right, whereas Donnie has to focus on the left side.
Donnie also got his own Zap, own Electro Wizard to actually have those mini stuns against the Golem, really slow down the pushes. This is something that he needs to defend near perfectly. There's that Tornado to get the maximum chain stuns on all of them. Even
AOE.
onto the minions.
We have the Bar Barrel coming through AOE. We have the Dark Prince AOE. Ewiz AOE.
Okay,
and look at
he
those
feels it. He knows that this push is going to end the game. Donnie, what does he have? Dark Prince gets deleted, zaps, but not enough with that many units on your tower.
Wow. Manong GP, especially on the double elixir, he knew exactly what he needed. He knew when he wanted to use that Tornado. He had all the cards that he needed out, or at least in his hand, where we saw the Bar Barrel come out, we saw the Dark Prince do the AoE damage, we saw the E-Dragon doing all that Chain Lightning to get rid of all the units that Donnie put down for defense.
Wonder what the final card from Danny was actually. It could have just been a poison, but really not really finding the best answer. That poison, that fireball, either way. But there were not really too many great situations where he could actually put those spells down. This was the moment where we thought Manong GP, okay, that Mega Minion going to the left could have been a better defense, but he had to actually cover onto the right side of the tower anyhow with that Electro Wizard. But of course, we're talking about the tower that's not even scratched, 25-34. Yeah.
But either way, even with the Mega Minion going right, whether it was on purpose or not, Manong GP clean wins. In the beginning, it was kind of going back and forth, and we're like, oh, that was a huge damage. Like, because Manong GP's Princess Tower went down to like 840, 850-ish. So we're like, oh, okay. So, you know, he did take a big hit. We'll see how he comes back, and he definitely does come back with that lovely Tornado coming through at the end.
Yes, as Jack comes back on stage, says, okay, I got the back of my teammates. glad we're seeing some Golem decks actually making it, because right now the trend is a lot more trendier, with especially with the 1v1 players, who's supposed to be the ace of the team, like Jack, Benzer, TNT, even Expo Master, and so on. There are so many great players in our region, but they tend to go a lot more quicker in cycle, like the Hog, Ram Rider, just even the deck that's supposed to be the P.E.K.K.A. Batter Ram. They take out the P.E.K.K.A. and replace it with the Ice Golem and have quicker cycles with the bandits and everything. So those were the trendy ones, but now Bren Esports really bringing the heavy decks and surviving, not really taking too much damage until the final minute mark, and then going on to overtime, push it greatly with that Golem. I think it's working. Let's see if it works against Jack once again. I think he's willing to try the heavier ones once again.
Yeah, Jack in the past definitely has played the heavy decks. You know, he played the P.E.K.K.A. Battle Ram deck as well. He played a lot of the P.E.K.K.A. Battle Ram and the Bandit actually. And there was one where he put in the Royal Ghost with the P.E.K.K.A. Battle Ram.
Yes.
So Jack is definitely willing to play the heavier decks when it's needed. But we all know that Jack is that super fast cycle user. So we'll see if Jack will decide to stick with it, because he's on a roll right now. 2-0 for, well, 2 straight wins in that 1v1.
Yeah. Just within the couple of days, the deck we've been seeing a lot, especially from the West, is that Ice Royal Giant 2.9 cycle. As usually the Royal Giant cycles are really heavy with that Furnace, but never mind. Just put Skeletons, Ice Spirit, and some Tornado with that Ice Wizard, and Royal Giant can actually do a lot of work because you pull everything with that Tornado. Let's see if that deck actually comes out in Asia at all.
Yeah, because I think people are starting to realize, all right, Royal Giant, it's kind of like the Hog Rider. You want just a couple hits, couple chip damage every time you put it down. Just allow that to happen, and they're starting to figure out different kind of style. But here we go. Jack putting down that Royal Ghost and the Battle Ram. This might be the deck that I just mentioned about the P.E.K.K.A. and the Bandit.
It's one of the most classic ones, but from a long time ago.
Yeah.
And what he's up against is Bandit P.E.K.K.A. already from Manong GP. A very similar choice, I would say, but that Ghost has to be stopped. That's going to kill the Bane, but the Ram does charge into the tower.
All right.
No defense? The minions are also coming.
That tower is down for Jack. He wants to focus on the left, I guess, but still, this is a huge disadvantage that Jack is having.
Jack was supposed to put the Electro Wizard onto the right so he could do damage, but Manong GP is willing to trade. There's a dash onto the right, and the P.E.K.K.A.
All right, they're actually going to trade damage, and look at the damage on the right side. The Bandit gets the charge, it gets the swings. So right now, if we're not looking at the King Tower HP, Jack has the lead.
Yes, he does. How he sets up so for that pocket Batter Ram to actually go into that Princess Tower, that can be one of the strategy at the last second of the game if you're really forcing the opponent. But except for those moments, it's going to be tough. P.E.K.K.A. with the tower down, it's actually a lot tougher to go directly into the Princess because of that King Tower is helping out.
All right, there we go. Manong GP making his move. The Battle Ram on the left, and the Royal Ghost.
Charges in.
Yeah, Royal Ghost only is definitely not good enough. And there we go. Battle Ram placed a little bit behind. The E-Wiz will definitely buy Manong GP some time here.
Yeah, just enough. And usually you wait for the Battle Ram and have the E-Wizard to go against it. Stuns the charge from the Battle Ram all the time. Makes it slow, makes it dumb, so it doesn't reach the tower all the time. And Jack has been using the Electro Wizard for that P.E.K.K.A. so many times.
Alright.
Still Jack leading though.
Yeah, Jack is definitely leading unless Manong GP always is going to go for that King Tower. But now, you know, the King Tower and the Princess for Jack is basically the same.
Great poison. Getting all the minions doing the damage to E-Wizard.
Yeah, what Manong GP actually just did now is what I personally like doing when I'm using the Royal Ghost. Is pocket Royal Ghost rather than the Battle Ram, because it's less expensive in a way, and it forces out at least one kind of unit, and it forces the defender to take the hits as well.
Yeah, Manong GP will take some damage to the King Tower, but I don't think he really cares about it too much, because he's the one that's supposed to push into Jax and also go for that King Tower with 1700 left.
Okay, there we go with the offensive poison as well. The barbs will get some swings, and the minions that also get some shots as well.
Okay, dash in, but the real push is happening onto the right side. Pekka going straight to the King Tower.
Oh, the Royal Ghost is actually...
But still too healthy right now, and the Battle Ram will be deleted with those minions. They gotta be stopped. Zaps, but still minions do survive with the zap damage.
Oh, that split push.
If you are locking onto the tower and the Battle Ram even charging in, that should be game. Yeah, either the King Tower or the Princess Tower. Manong GP says, no, 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 not even close.
Wow. That was pretty crazy because, yeah, Jack gave up his first Princess Tower first, but he was able to trade Manong GP's Princess Tower as well. And at the end of the day, with the Bandit, with the counter defense Bandit coming from Jack, he did do a lot more damage to Manong GP's right side Princess Tower. However, Manong GP did not give up. He continuously started doing split pushes, and Jack had to decide. And in a couple of moments, Jack decided the wrong side, and the Pekka and the minions just did too much pressure on the right side.
Usually in these kind of mirror matches, what you decide to follow with the Pekka actually determines the answer. If you want to have the Electro Wizard along with the Pekka, or the Bandit with the Pekka, and the change of cycles within that actually determines a lot. So this Battle Ram was a desperate one. He knew that he had to just throw something down. And even with the secondary one, it was really tough.
And the thing is, there was that moment where Jack defended the left Princess Tower against the Bandit with the Pekka, but we saw the Ewiz and the Pekka on the right side going for the King Tower. So I'm thinking, what if, put the Pekka down in front of the Pekka and just put something else down. I didn't see his card rotation, so I can't be sure if Jack really didn't have anything for that Bandit other than the Pekka. But either way, I think that moment was the moment where Manong GP knew, all right, the Pekka is on the other side. And
yeah, Jack already spent a little too much going for the King Tower, which Manong GP just defended with minions.
Yeah.
And that's where he actually got a lot more saves in Elixir. The reason why he was able to push with that Pekka with so many other units was because of Jack pushing a little too much onto the King Tower at the bottom. As you put a little too much elixirs, that's actually, it becomes 2, it becomes 3, 4, and then a Battle Ram eventually. So that was a really cool mirror matchup basically. But Kentsumeshi is up here. Can he really stop that streak?
Well, Kentsumeshi is 3 and 4 for his King of the Hills, and he hasn't played any 1v1 matches obviously because he's more of that 2v2 or 4-5 gaming. But he is the last member. Right now, Manong GP 2-0. He went 2-0 on 2v2, now 2-0 in King of the Hill.
Yep, we've seen a lot of Ram Riders from Kentsumeshi too. Let's see if that actually can become a counter against the Battle Rams too. Only counting the King of the Hill. Twice with the Ram Rider.
Yeah.
And even some Electro Dragons.
If you see Manong GP while he's waiting, he plays the piano on the stand. Yeah, he has that electric touch piano. You see that? He's playing. But anyways, yeah, he's
trying to calm down at the same time. And yeah, those are really good signs that he's having fun on the stage. So far, just Dark Prince.
Ooh, okay, there's a Hunter.
And not just the Sparky deck, Hunter has been coming out a few more times.
There we go. We have the Infernal Dragon. All right.
This basically seals it, though.
Yeah, but seeing that card coming down, dropping down, the big green dude.
Yeah, that's the part Manong GP bringing that Infernal Dragon along with that Electro Dragon. That's going to hurt when that Sparky is trying to do some damage.
Unless the lightning happens, and this is going to be pretty big. We have the Goblin Giant locked onto the tower, and it does get some swings in there. So far, Kentsumeshi pretty confident.
Yep, Goblin Giant. It's a scary, scary thing. And if you see that E-Dragon in the air all the time, you don't even have to play that Sparky if you really don't want to.
So basically, as you said, when you see the E-Dragon come down, when you already had that Goblin Giant, right? Don't put the Sparky down. Rather, just kill the E-Dragon, do the damage onto the Princess Tower with the lightning like Kentsumeshi did the first time. But now, there is a Sparky to try to delete the Golem before it reaches the Princess Tower.
Again, tornado for Manong would be great too. Together, everything. Make sure the golem death damage connects to a lot, but this golem will be deleted quickly with that Sparky working on it.
All right, and that was a good on the side of Kentsumeshi, putting down the Dark Prince to get that Infernal Dragon away from the Sparky, allowing it to actually do delete.
The Giant Skull will actually push the Yi Dragon out of the Princess error range. So, a little luckily for Manong GP, he has the Dragon saved in the air.
Here we go. We have the double dragons just doing a lot of damage.
Has more than enough elixirs to drop something heavy for Kentsumeshi.
As you say that the Sparky is dropped to match the golem, and Manong GP's face was like, I'm not doing that. He wasn't satisfied.
With the Dark Prince going towards the opposite side, Manong GP was basically waiting for what was happening. Sparky already locking up with the first shot with the golem, but Chain Lightning is actually far enough from that Goblin Giant, so it doesn't really stop that Sparky too much.
Alright, the Golemites will do a couple swings and the death damage, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I don't think that will be worth it, even though the tower HP, now Manong GP is a little bit ahead.
Okay, Manong GP really wants to push this with the Lumberjack, with the Golem this time. And a great tornado pull. Even the Lumberjack might actually go to the other side, but the Golem is locking on. And
alright, this might just create an opening for Manong GP. As you see, he has no spell at all. Well, not spells that attack the Princess Tower. However, Kentsumeshi trying to make something out of this counter push, and the Goblin Giant does go through, gets a couple swings, but that's not going to be enough.
Yeah, Manong's okay with this.
Yeah.
Okay, with Lumberjack just going straight. That's not the best thing, but still okay defense against the Goblin Giant that was pushing the lane too much.
Alright, the bridge. Oh, they're going for it.
Let's see the speed.
They're going for
Dark
it.
Prince will be pushing that Goblin Giant too much. Let's see Manong if he can actually defend this. Great tornado pull with that lightning. Goes in for 272.
Oh, the lightning!
A little fast from Kenzumeshi's side. Great pull with that tornado. Really aiming for that perfect chance to stop the streak from Bren Esports. It was close, but it comes down to 2-1 now.
That was a great tornado at the end. Other than that, it was just going back and forth. Nice Sparky placements. Nice dragging the attention away from the Infernal Dragon to keep that Sparky alive with the Dark Prince by Kentsumeshi. Same goes for Manong GP, trying to counter push, trying to always have that EWIS ready for that Sparky. However, that last tornado was just, it was a race, and the tornado basically kind of like a cheat key. He used a cheat key at the end. He's like, oh, I'm gonna pull you back just a little bit.
But still not the best one. The Golem, of course, is really strong. I think this was the moment where Lumberjack actually went to
the other
Sparky,
side.
so their rage did not connect into the Golem. Actually, with that rage, it could have been just one more shot coming down from that Golem into the tower. That would have been a lot closer in the final moment. Tornado good enough, but in terms of damage and how much the Goblin Giant can actually tank, so much more HP.
Yep.
That Goblin Giant.
Alright, and the runner-up after Manong GP will be Toby. We'll see if Toby will be able to beat Kentsumeshi. Unfortunately, Toby won't get that revenge match against Jack because Manong GP already beat him. So now we have Kentsumeshi, the last member on OP.GAMING, whereas Toby, he still has, that room to breathe because Jai is still left for that last member on the side of Bren Esports.
Toby really bringing a lot into 1v1 for the team, coming out for 1v1 set, and really loving the Musketeers.
Yeah. He loves the Musketeers. He has brought the Royal Giant Furnace deck many times. He has brought the Sparky deck recently, as I mentioned in that 1v1 set too. So I don't know. Maybe Toby seeing that Sparky being played by Kentsumeshi, it kind of made him want to play it again. You never know.
Yep, as he does like to try a lot of different things like Elixir Collector. That has been somewhat trendy even without the Three Musketeers anymore, because Three Musketeer, we've had some tries, but we've seen it not working too well. So moving into possibly the final game. Still Bren Esports, they're on a match point. Kentsumeshi needs a 3-0 straight in order for 5-Gaming, and they really seriously need this match win to go into the playoff later on.
We'll see if Kentsumeshi can actually pull it off, because if Kentsumeshi wins, he still has tried to go up against them. The Royal Hogs on the right side of the Sparky deck. Once again for Kentsumeshi, it has worked out pretty well.
Against the Royal Hog, lovely unit to basically delete a lot of them, but didn't get into everything, so had to use another giant snowball.
Yeah, it actually, you know, it looked lovely when it got rid of 3 Royal Hogs all at once, but that one guard and the one full HP Royal Hog tanking the Princess Tower, it actually did do a ton of damage to Kentsumeshi's right side tower.
So with this cycle, I think Toby's actually okay. The Sparky's going to have a really tough time. Landing on Toby's side of, especially to the tower. There's that E-Wiz. Even guards are actually really good against the Sparky because it takes down the shield first.
Yep.
And they don't go down unless there's something else connecting to that Sparky.
Exactly, and the Hunter is put down. Toby is basically forcing Kentsumeshi and not allowing him to put down the unit and set up the way he wants. He's always forcing him to kind of stagger everything, and now finally the Sparky is put down first and the Royal Hog on the other side. Mega Minion there to defend, but that one Mega Minion is obviously not going to clear 4 Royal Hogs right away, so it will do a ton of damage again.
It will take some time, but Kentsumeshi with that Sparky, because that E-Wiz was just destroyed, Toby does not have that in his hand for such a long time. Mega Knight dropping on top of that spawn damage. Guards are in defense mode, but still, the Goblin Giant actually connects a few.
And it was pretty, the idea was great because, the Mega Knight actually changed targets from Sparky to the Barbarian, which allowed the Sparky to shoot one more.
The Hunter not going to really do too much.
Alright, here we go, Deja Vu. Basically, this time Kentsumeshi does decide to use a little bit more elixir. Uses the Bar Barrel with the Mega Minion to defend on the left side for the Royal Hog. It still does a ton of damage. Now it's only 8-5-4.
Toby can't take too much onto the left side, so splits that minion. Similar story here. The Mega Knight does take a little more from that Hunter now, and the Goblin Giant alone on that tower. Bandit comes to save it.
Still not good enough compared to what Toby has done. Oh, there we go. The Split Hog now coming through with the E-Wiz on the right side doing a couple damage. Oh my goodness. Toby has, 2 options.
Yeah, same for Kentsumeshi. It's about the same anyhow.
Yeah.
So Sparky, this is the great one with the Dark Prince coming charging. There's that spawn damage. Will that be enough? Great push.
Hey, the poison, defensive poison coming through from Toby, and the Sparky does go down. However,
Electro Wizard goes instantly. So a lot more elixirs for Kentsumeshi to use at the moment.
Yep. Definitely ahead.
And that's why he's just bridge spamming and trying to push a lot more. Toby's going low on elixirs. Can stop it perfectly.
It's not looking great at all. E-Wiz is put down. Kentsumeshi knows Toby's out of elixirs right now. He's just pressuring him, and now it's gone with the lightning.
Yeah, with that final spell, was holding the lightning forever and ever. Yeah. Kentsumeshi holding the hope for 5-Gaming at the moment. MonoGP 2-0, and then Kentsumeshi comes back on stage with 2-0. Comes down to the final one. It is going to be Jai, who had a tough moment against Benzer, I believe, on Thursday.
It was 1-2 on the 1v1. However, he is 3-0, Jai, in King of the Hills, undefeated in King of the Hills. And we always talk about this, especially yesterday with Clint. We see some players just do so good in King of the Hill, but not so good in 1v1s, and vice versa. And 1v1s, you had the chance to kind of counter each other after the first game, right? But in King of the Hill, there is no. It's just one game. It's a one-game set. So maybe those surprise attacks that people are able to do is worth it for some of the players. Whereas other players, they kind of need to see the style of the other player, what they bring. So I don't know. I'm still confident in Jai that he could make it happen. And same goes for Kentsumeshi with that two straight win.
Yeah, great control by Kentsumeshi there, as the Goblin Giant does have those spears on the back, and they actually clean up the ones ground or air. Not too much damage, but good enough to take out skeletons in one shot. And that's going to continue. I think it's about time Kentsumeshi changes his deck, because Jai will be thinking about those stuns, mini stuns from E-Wizard, E-Dragon, the Zap, and everything that goes against the Sparky.
Exactly. We have only the Princess and the Baby Dragon banned, so no help there to counter the Sparky here. So we'll see if Kentsumeshi will stick with the same deck, but as you said, Kentsumeshi won 2 games straight with the same deck, so it's about time for him to change. But I'm curious as to what Jai will bring, because now he has to think of the deck that he wanted to bring out, plus think of the counters for Kentsumeshi Sparky Goblin Giant, just in case it comes out again, or think of another deck, because Kentsumeshi now might change his deck.
Yeah, still match number 1, but so far it was banned in 2v2, but no Royal Giant action at all from 1v1. I think it's about time that we see that coming out from Jai, who will actually be trying really hard right now on a rope here. Final match to decide the winner of match 1. Bren Esports, Jai at the bottom in blue, Kentsumeshi on top in red.
All right.
And with bats, is it time
To duel?
Not really. Oh, with the ice.
Oh.
Golem, it's super quick cycle.
All right.
Yes, there might be one. Might be a barbarian having that hammer on that hog.
Yeah.
Screaming for action, going straight into the tower. Kentsumeshi still yet to tell with those 3 that are just being played about millions of times every single day. Barbarian Barrel, Mega Minion, Giant Snowball.
Yeah.
Name a deck
yeah.
that doesn't have those. Still Sparky!
Oh my goodness. Okay. Alright, well, oh, Lumberjack Balloon here to counter that fast, to counter that push fast.
But the Hunter is actually okay with that rage. Balloon does connect just 1 shot, but this was a surprise attack, so Kentsumeshi did take 1, but what's coming for Jai on left and right, the bats, just before the shot from the Sparky, it does lock onto the tower, but because of that small initial time before it fires, no actual damage from the Sparky.
Alright, well, now basically Jai's counter with the Lumberjack Balloon did do that initial damage because of that rage, that drop in the death damage. However, Jai committed too much to the left side all at once. It wasn't no ice golden balloon, right? It was the Lumberjack Balloon. So, you know, that took up a lot of elixirs, which made him take the counter damage after defending. And here we go once again. The same thing is happening.
Hunter comes down just a little too late, so 1 more shot now onto the right side of the tower. Charge actually goes in before the Dark Prince goes down. Kentsumeshi wants to push big time onto the left. Bats will be going down from the Spear Goblins on the back of the Goblin Giant.
This is not looking great for Jai.
Great zap to actually get that Sparky down before it hits. Still too much damage from the Goblin Giant directly. Even that Dark Prince is on it now with the Mega Minion.
Mega Minion connects to the Princess Tower, just 1, but the Dark Prince does get distracted by the Barbarian Barrel. But either way, whether the Dark Prince was distracted or not, just too much damage on the bottom left, 269. If Kentsumeshi has another lightning, it's over, 307 damage.
And he does have it, for sure, but he's got enough push. The balloon and gets knocked away from the tower with that snowball to finally seal it. Kentsumeshi has a 3-0 comeback for his team.
Reverse sweep. Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
Charisma.
That's the charm sign. Go get him, ladies.
What if he has a girlfriend?
Well, maybe in the future. Kentsumeshi, what a big moment for him, because he has been basically stuck on that 2v2 for such a long time. And when Jack was supposed to show a little better sign of hope in that King of the Hill, went down straight against Mono GP. And I'm sure many has thought, okay, this is going to be really hard for OP.GAMING. And then Kentsumeshi comes back with a 3-0 victory in that King of the Hill.
Kentsumeshi definitely the hero for today, at least. After 2 of his teammates just dying back-to-back to 1 player, he had to be the one to save his team this time around to go straight for that reverse sweep.
Great. OP.GAMING, they will be going up just a little more, climbing a little higher, looking for that playoff. That's only match number 1, guys, as this wizard lines up perfectly with the background color here. This music is for us to close right now. It's the commercials. We'll be back with Talon versus Kings on DragonX. We'll have a surprise, so stay tuned. Talon, 3 match wins, 5 match losses. Versus Kingzone DragonX, 2 match wins, 6 match losses. They're both really looking for that, hungry for that win. And they don't have too many matches left in the season. What's happening, Ending?
Wow, I don't even know what's happening, but like you say, this team on your screen, Talon, needs a win. And SB, Master Hong, Shake, The Rock, and Yugi are these players. You know, I never thought that there will be on the brink of whether they'll be in top 4 or not, because they're such a strong team. And we'll see how well they do against Kingzone DragonX, who is last place in Group B.
Ouch. As we did not get to see The Rock too many times in the recent, and seems like he's not gonna play again today. Don't see him on stage.
Yep.
Just SB, Yugi Art, Shake, and Master Hong on stage. But on this side, Kingzone DragonX, great roster, and even True Fast coming in, helping a lot. But who's that on the right? Line.
Well, he's at the end of the line. He just came out on the team, and like I said, Kingzone last place, 2 and 6. So right now, 4th and 5th place. Ojan, Antis, and Fab, they're 4 and 5 and 4 and 5. Kingzone, they're 2 and 6. So they have to basically, if they even want to have the slightest chance of making a top 4, they have to basically win everything.
A new man on the roster, just turned 16 less than a month ago. So he does come out on that 1v1. Certainly a lot of people does not like Lumberjack here. I know, it's just banned everywhere except for Yugi Art. He's like, I'll just ban Tornado. That bad guy has been turning a lot of fields into rage.
Oh my goodness, really? Like, I wouldn't have been surprised. It would have made my day if we had 4 Lumberjack bans, but 3 is good enough for me. And wow, usually, especially for a 2v2, you know, we see sometimes a Royal Giant ban, we see a Tornado ban, and from time to time Inferno Tower ban, but double Lumberjack ban? I think this is the first time ever seeing a double Lumberjack ban for me, personally.
Yeah, I think so too. In that 2v2, which means Tornado and Freeze and all the other spells will be available, but it is Shaki Master Hong, the duo that has been coming out so many times for that 2v2. That Lumberjack ban. They have been focusing a little more. Where's my sheet? It's gone, but they have been focusing a little bit more on the balloon, the air side, especially when that Tornado was not banned. Let's see if they connect that pattern a little more.
Alright, well, we do have SB there in the middle with that super secret talent folder here to help out with the draft and with the decks, actually, not the draft. But to go up against July and Nuri, who has also been pretty good. Nuri, more of the 2v2. July going back and forth, kind of sitting out sometimes, letting Alpha do the 2v2 with Nuri. So we'll see how well they do against this team. And unfortunately, they are the last place team in Group B, and they might just become the last place team overall, because Dead Nation Gaming is 2 and 7 right now. So if they lose today, they're fighting for the last place against that.
You don't want to fight for the last place. You want to escape from that last place. What are you talking about? You're not fighting for that space. But of course, Talon, they focus a lot more on the giant skeleton. And when that tornado's available, that death bomb gets so much value. And I think we have the highest chance of seeing that here.
Yep.
Even Royal Giant. I'm not a big Royal Giant fan, but we just have not seen that at all today.
Yeah, we haven't. There we go. So with the Tornado, okay, right away, the giant skeleton.
Yeah, great P.E.K.K.A right away in the stun from that E-Wizard. Is that enough to block perfectly? Yes, it does.
Yeah, perfect. E-Wiz and the P.E.K.K.A in front is going to be more than enough. There we go, the chip damage does come through, and Miner has to be put down always there because Tornado is alive.
Meaning P.E.K.K.A beats the P.E.K.K.A.
Yep.
What does that mean?
Well, the student beats the master sooner or later.
Yeah, only when you have some stuns against it. But guards on blue and red side is going to be really useful against the mini P.E.K.K.A and the P.E.K.K.A together. But still a lot more damage being done by Kingzone, just by about 200.
It's all that minor chip coming through, and the Ice Wizard will go down, but still.
Let's see how the Tornado will be used really well here. There's that bomb tower.
Oh, the
slow
earthquake.
from the Giants. Snowball again. Royal Giant connecting. Ooh, just before the connection. Tornado, great.
He's still gonna get another hit, I presume. There we go, that one extra hit. The Giant Skeleton this time, it's a counter attack after the defense. So Kingzone is going to try to get in as far as possible. And wow, the miner does lock on here.
Yeah, guard just a little too late.
Yep.
And that poison, great value in eliminating some guards and also the Ice Wizard.
Okay. So the damage dealt on the Princess Tower, it's like, yeah, it's 1900 versus 1800, but we can just say it's pretty even now. Well,
the Ice Wizard, Ice Spirit was going to pair that up with the Miner, but the Log just at the same time. A little unlucky for Kings of DragonX there.
Alright, so we do have the P.E.K.K.A answering for the Giant Skeleton.
Is it just the P.E.K.K.A and the Giant Skeleton from Kingzone? I don't think so.
Alright, well.
Yeah, the rocket comes just in time. Mini P.E.K.K.A's gone.
Deleted, but however, the P.E.K.K.A does go down as well either way. This time, another one. When this happened last time, the Royal Giant did get a couple hits, and there we go, even with the tornado.
Yeah, great pull. Guards away from that earthquake so that it actually survives and does so much more damage to that Royal Giant. And great, another same placement from the Reiner because of that tornado. I think being held by Talon so far. They gotta have tornado with the Giant Skeleton.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't use it yet. So Kingzone not really falling for that trick.
Ooh, but this time, the Royal Giant locks right onto the bomb tower, and the P.E.K.K.A goes on to the Royal Giant rather than the Giant Skeleton.
Yeah, but great bomb tower placement away from the tower so the earthquake does not catch both at the same time.
Oh, this time, okay, there we go. Finally, the pull. Kingzone, we're like, all right, so this time we won't let them predict, and we're going to put it somewhere else, and activates the King Tower finally.
And the Fireball to chip in damage along with hitting the Ice Wizard onto Kingzone. This Royal Giant pushing a little too far. There's that pull from with that tornado this time. So let's see how that King Tower activation actually helps Kingzone in a way.
Yeah, just now we did have that miner go through, but the King Tower activation allowed Talon to kind of sacrifice and not put down any units and just took some damage.
Rotation for that
Oh no.
bomb tower just in time before it connects to the Princess Tower. RG still some HP left, but with that rocket poison, spell damage. Kingzone is going to take that first game. Rocket really sealing the deal every single time. 400 plus damage.
Yep.
And catching mini P.E.K.K.A once. I think that was just enough to turn the tide around.
Yeah, so 432 damage with the rocket and the poison damage coming through as well, 206. So like that's already just 650-ish damage off the bat. And even yesterday we saw a couple times where players just held the rocket until the end, and they were constantly chipping and chipping until that rocket would actually seal the deal. And right now, Kingzone kind of did a very similar thing. They didn't hide the rocket, but still, they had the rocket in their hands. They used it to get rid of the mini P.E.K.K.A once, and then now at the end with the rocket and the poison to seal the deal.
I think this was the moment where Kingzone really had a great defense. P.E.K.K.A directly locking onto the Royal Giant, and also the bomb tower coming onto the side of the river, not really letting that earthquake do all that damage. Keeping that spells alive. They had really great teamwork with those spells happening left and right. With the rocket, I think it was overall not just the deck choice, great teamwork being shown on this legendary arena here.
Yep, and now Kingzone is up with a win in set 1. And like I said, both of these teams need a win. However, Kingzone, I think they're a little bit more desperate because, like I said, they have to win every single game today if they want to have a chance. Like, even if they win all of it, depending on how OP.GAMING and W6D3 does, they still might just not make it.
That's totally true. But the tornado has been just affecting so much. Comes down to the second one, as Kingzone did not have the Royal Giant. When the Royal Giant doesn't connect, it's not worth to put that much elixirs down on the ground. But Rocket will always connect unless you miss it.
Okay, Zap to make sure that Barbarian doesn't get a swing in to the Princess Tower.
Without the Lumberjack, it's really hard to go against the Royal Giant. You got to think about some other ones like the Barbarians, also really good. But against so many spells from the other side, Tornado, Fireball. Okay, here comes the Graveyard.
Alrighty, here we go.
Expecting the freeze if they have it, maybe not for the first time. So Kingzone better be ready for that freeze to come down along with that graveyard next time.
Alright, this time we do have the Baby Dragon and the Ice Wizard that goes down to the Mega Minion, and now the Baby Dragon will go down as well. So yeah, the Pup break out, the Lava Hound break out. However, that Baby Dragon is super healthy, and it does lock on to the Princess Tower. A ton of damage coming through.
Yeah, if you don't do anything, Princess Tower versus the Baby Dragon, it's about 1,000 damage. It's a little plus.
Yeah.
So you do have to bring the bats, and also Kingzone, they use the zap again to delete those skeletons just so that Baby Dragon can connect even one more shot to the tower. Now really focusing on to the right side.
Right, they are Talon on the other hand. They're really focusing on the left. Oh my goodness, the activation happened, and this is the worst case scenario, even worse than when you're using a miner. When it's a graveyard deck and your when your opponent's King Tower is activated.
Yeah, it's not as bad when you have the freeze, so because you can catch both the King Tower and the Princess Tower.
Yeah.
But you have to have that as an option. Now, Kings and DragonX, they will be placing their units away from that freeze zone.
Yep.
So that's the read that we're going to have in the future because of that King Tower activation. Great point ending.
Yep, exactly, and we do have the Giant Skeleton now with the graveyard and maybe possibly the freeze. There we go. Oh, but defensive poison will take care of the job.
Everything, basically. But still, the Barbarian is still coming, but the King Tower is helping the defense. And this Giant Skeleton not even close to the Princess Tower at all.
Alright, we do have the double Lava Hound in the back with the Mega Minion and the Baby Dragon. The Infernal Tower will pop one Lava Hound, but that's okay.
Yeah, but instantly locks onto the second Lava Hound, so it does do some damage. And with that slow, I think that might be enough with some scratches from the pup.
Okay, you have to keep in mind the Kingzone, again, has the poison, has the zap, and the lightning.
Yeah, great prediction with that giant snowball. I think that's close to being game. 6 seconds, power down, graveyard, and there's a defensive poison from Kingzone. DragonX, there's that freeze, but poison will take care of most of the skeleton. That's 2-0.
Wow.
From Kingzone DragonX. What an improvement in their teamwork, I would say, not just in spell usage, not just in deck choices, but it's something different that we have really not been seen from any other region, any other team with that rocket cycle. That was pretty unique.
Yeah, definitely. Kingzone definitely practiced something new. Not really like to surprise us, like a big surprise. However, it was definitely a unique deck, and we can tell that they practiced it a lot. They knew how to use their decks, how to take turns to defend against miners or whatnot, against Giant Skeleton as well. So very well played on the side of Kingzone DragonX. Great start.
Let's take a look at the highlights as a replay. 2v2, Giant Skeleton will most likely not going to connect the death damage into the tower. It's mostly for the death bomb damage onto the following units, and the Royal Giant to actually push to have direct shots. Talon, they were thinking, okay, this worked before, and this is one of the best win rate right now in that 2v2. Let's try it once again. And Kingzone says, haha, I knew that you were going to use it. Exactly. And then having that rocket to just chip damage to the tower all the time. Great use of the deck.
Yeah, exactly. Kingzone, they were just going all defense with the P.E.K.K.A. and Giant Skeleton and using the minor chip damage with the rocket. But this second match also was very surprising and very unfortunate. Even though they had the freeze on the side of Talon, the King Tower activation, like you said, forces Talon to use the freeze on the side of King Tower and the Princess Tower, and allows Kingzone to put their defending units on the other side and allow it to actually defend, but they didn't even need to. They had the defensive poison.
Yeah, I don't think it even mattered too much, even with that freeze.
Yeah.
Because there was that poison.
Yep.
Graveyard plus freeze, that's 9. But 4 elixirs for that poison to defend against 9 elixirs. So it was really tough. You can change into the other tower, but if you already done scratch onto the left side, I think Talon was actually losing really hard, even with that freeze when there's that poison.
Look at this guy, is king of the hill. 7-4 Yu-Gi art here. He did play 2 1v1s. He lost against Greed and he beat the secret weapon from King's Onion. So
the hardest thing about going against Yu-Gi art is that you have no idea what he's going to use.
Yeah.
He can use Sparkies, And instead of baby dragons, of course, he did use 5 times. Musketeers already 9 times. He was using musketeers instead of baby dragon even before everyone actually did. So in terms of the meta and meta cards, how Yu-Gi-Oh actually uses, it can be actually different. But gotta focus on this new person, new player.
Yeah, we have King's Own Line with the freshly cut bowl haircut right here. No record, first day, his debut. We'll see how well he plays because they have been saving him until his birthday passed.
Less than a month past his 16, where it's in the regulation, you have to be over 16 to come into the league, as he was in the roster for some time. And he's pretty well known in the Korean community as being one of the best Clash Royale players, just like TNT.
Yep.
Let's see how this rookie actually goes off on stage. No tornado in this matchup, so that's a safe minor placement.
Okay. He does get a couple chips. Oh, mortar down right away.
Mortar minor.
So we can already tell that Line, he wants to take the initiative. He doesn't wait then to counter. He makes the moves first and then counter after, depending on what is put down.
Yeah, so he's safe to actually, he was thinking about the counter one with the bats. Yugi already ended up using the giant snowball, so Line knew that the bats were going to be safe.
All right, Goblin Gang. So right now, Line, he's kind of going back and forth, kind of seeing what kind of units Yu-Gi-Oh has prepared for him. And so far, no, other than a couple hits, the shovel hits from the miner, they're basically at a stalemate.
After this time when Line is trying to push, and very unlikely because it will be just going down with the spawn damage from the Mega Knights. So it will be mostly on that mortar doing the direct damage to the tower. Let's see how Line connects it. Really pushes the line for the next set of elixirs so that Yu-Gi-Oh cannot have a perfect defense.
And I'm going to say this, every time that Spirit Goblin gets 1 or 2 hits, it feels good.
Yeah, it's not too much damage, only 67.
It stacks up. Alright, well this time the Mega Knight has the backing of the E-Wiz.
Was maybe predicting
the
guards to come back.
This was what I was afraid of. The Mega Knight jump, pushed back the Rascal, and the girls gets deleted. That's very unfortunate when that happens.
But great minor placement, because you have your units pushing from the bridge. Yu-Gi-Oh has had a really good read with that bandit. Both players just being on top of each other, reading the next move all the time.
But you have to notice that Line's Princess Tower HP is perfect. Not even a scratch.
Yeah, that's the thing. But when Yu-Gi-Oh, when those big units get onto the tower, they will be doing chunks of damage, not just those scratches compared to what Line is trying to do. Great poison coming out doing the damage to the mortar, Rascals, and the tower together.
All right, yeah, exactly. The mortar did connect to the tower, and the miner is doing 3 damage. However, we do have the Ram Rider. All right, great pull from the mortar, but it won't last
and
long.
The charge together. Still, the Inferno Dragon is in the air. Great knockback from those giant snowballs happening from red and blue.
All right, so right now, even with Line kind of being pressured with the Ram Rider, with the Mega Knight, with the Inferno Dragon, including the snowball push, he was able to defend it, not take as much damage.
Placing the miner all the way back because Yu-Gi-Oh at this time wanted to set up a Mega Knight from all the way back. And the rocket catching all 3!
Well,
except for the Inferno Dragon in the air. That was almost too close.
Yeah, that was, oh my goodness.
I don't think Line's too happy about that too. Still goes down from the girls, took a little too much damage.
Yeah, if that got all 3, that was a sure advantage for Line. But that kind of missing out the Inferno Giant kind of made it iffy.
For that great chance. Still, this defensive mortar is a problem. As Line is chipping some damage with the miner consistently. Now Yu-Gi-Oh's down to 12-11 without you even noticing it.
All right, well, now I noticed it because you mentioned it, but we'll see now. Yu-Gi-Oh isn't even giving a chance for Liner to send out his miner. No more miner chips happening.
Poison actually catching out a few of the goblins as well.
Alright, and the Mega Knight being placed behind the King Tower is going to force Line to wait to send out that miner.
Yeah, he just wants that Mega Knight to tank all the shots and connect to the motor instead. And then making sure that the Ram Rider actually goes directly to the tower. But for now, because of that motor, no.
Alright, at least this time, the Rascal was placed well enough that the Mega Knight didn't get the jump in.
The mortar actually connects one directly to the tower.
Ooh.
But here comes the Ram Rider. This one's going to be tough. Charges in straight.
Oh my goodness. This is going to be
And that maybe we're in overtime with the Wizard. We're finishing a few more shots. Ram Rider, we talked about this. As Line is doing chip damage, few damage at a time. But Yu-Gi-Oh! What he needs is just one breakthrough. And that's going to be dash, charge, jump all the way together. And the tower instantly goes down, basically.
Yeah, great call on that, because Line in the beginning till mid game, until that double elixir time happened, Line was taking control of the game. He was kind of pressuring Yu-Gi-Oh! To kind of predict where the miner was going to come down, blah blah blah. However, like you said, one big breakthrough, the tower just goes down straight away, and we saw Line's expression. He is surprised. He's like, all right, maybe this is the big guy's league. Now I gotta play for real. They call the timeout.
Of course, they do need a comeback. Line needs more time, maybe experience on stage. That's another thing that we do always keep on mentioning, because it's the real drill. When you're just having code yellow, code red in a practice mode, it's never the same in the real mode. And Yugi really had a great switch transition into dropping the Mega Knight onto the back, so that the motor had to be used basically in a defense mode all the time, coming off from line, not to actually start the fight, hitting directly into the tower, which forces Yu-Gi-Oh! To drop his Mega Knight in defense mode.
Yeah.
So Yu-Gi-Oh! Was actually the one setting up his own attack. Works like a charm when you had that Ram Rider just screaming, snaring all the units, and charging into the tower.
That was actually a very good combination. The Mega Knight in the back forces that defensive mortar, but then you also have the Ram Rider that rams right into the mortar to help the Mega Knight to delete the defensive mortar, which allowed that initial or final attack rather from Yu-Gi-Oh! To destroy Line's Princess Tower right away.
Yeah, when you have that many units, big units, you also have some time to drop that poison.
Yeah.
And those small, especially the Rascal Girls, all those goblins on top of that poison, melts into pieces.
Alright, well, this is serious mode, and right now, Kingzone, they already won set 1 cleanly, 2-0. They want Line to somehow beat Yu-Gi-Oh! To make this and secure this win, because they need all the wins right now. They need the round wins, they need the game wins, they need the set wins.
Let's see what Line is going to show us from Kingzone. Was there a secret weapon for the entire season? Was it too late? Or is this going to be the new beginning for Kingzone DragonX?
Alright, the emo battle has happened.
Yeah, Goblins were on fire last game.
Alright. Playing some mind games with the miner.
Tough with the tornado ban.
Ooh, but it's still gonna get the
Oh, with the snare actually. Bandit charges into the Prince, canceling the charge damage from the Prince. Nicely done. But still no damage done to the Princess at all.
Pushing the Barbarian to go in a little faster, but the E-Wiz will stop the charge. Princess gets up. Oh, I was gonna say up, and the Barbarian barrel deletes it.
Only saw the small, short animation. Yeah. Yugi must not have the perfect ground unit to answer against the miner. Dropping that Inferno Dragon.
For now, in this early game is good enough, but when that damage, when that shovel damage, the chip damage starts to add up, it's going to hurt a lot.
Yes, certainly, and you get some time to spam those emotes.
There we go, we have the bandit down.
So that's the problem. Line is forcing the bandit, not for the miner, but for the Barbarian barrel.
Yeah.
So those are actually making significant difference here.
Alright, the E-Wiz just put down in the back, staggering. So now the miner has its attention. Oh, now Yu-Gi-Oh! Was forced to put down that Mega Knight. Here we go. Now the counter attack after the defense. This is the scarier part, and now Line is prepared. He has the Inferno Tower. Ooh, nice bar barrel to kind of distract the Mega Knight and the Ram Rider until that E-Wiz went down by the Princess Tower. And now the Inferno Tower can work without distraction.
Line actually has a really cheap cycle against what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is trying to do. As long as his miner does chip over time, He's certainly winning, but same story for Yu-Gi-Oh! He just had to break through once.
Yep.
This time it's the Inferno Tower, a little bit tougher.
Alright, there we go. The Mega Knight cuts off the Prince, and the Bandit sticks onto the Miner. However, the Miner does connect to the Princess Tower, and the constant chip damage. Now, 1,500 left. Now, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is trying to make a push happen with the Bandit charging. It's going to get rid of the Inferno Tower, and the Poison getting max value.
You need to think about and see what the final spell from Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to be.
Okay, so that Miner is going to be pretty good. And constantly do the chip damage. We had the Bandit and the Ewis go up ahead and cross the bridge.
Just chipping a little more from line as he had full elixir anyhow. If you put that Inferno Tower a little too early, it, of course, over time, it drains out of HP. You want to have more for that Mega Knight.
Pull away. Ooh, he's going to pull away the Mega Knight, get rid of the Ram Rider first, and allow the Prince to tank.
Yeah, better for line, as the Ram Rider is supposed to be the main source of damage into the tower.
Ooh, a little bit of mistiming there for line with the Miner, but still, it does get a couple of shovel hits.
Line's really trying to cycle through for that Inferno Tower to hit right after. There's a great drag and the pull.
Poison actually did a lot here, and it will poke the Ram Rider.
Those snares are becoming the pain.
Oh, but this Miner is pretty good now. Defending it with the Infernal Dragon. 800.
Yeah, not too much left for line to go as we have 2 minutes left in the overtime.
There we go, pulling back the Mega Knight. Oh, but look at all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Units stacked up right now.
Okay, good pull from both. Inferno Tower's already down. This Ram Rider is not healthy, but the Mega Knight is.
Alright. Prince will be the counter, or not really the counter, but will be able to get down Mega Knight. The Inferno Dragon right and ready for that Miner, but still from 800 to 600. From 600 to 400. If this continues.
Yeah, we're seeing the cycle. And I wonder what Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to do to make this change. Line having some extra elixirs to set up. Just wants to throw that snowball for extra damage into the tower.
Alright, they're both just beating each other. The Inferno Tower and the Mega Knight as well.
And that Barbarian Barrel from Line is actually making it so much harder for Yu-Gi-Oh! To set up.
Yeah.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the one throwing the Bar Barrel all the time.
Alright, well this time the Mega Knight will actually get rid of the Miner pretty quickly. So now Line has to do another defense, and if Line gets a chance or finds a chance to poison with the Miner, I think
great Bar Barrel this time. It could be some more. As there's a dash from the Bandit, and the second one, defensive Miner comes out from Line, and the snowball. No more. That's about it. But Yu-Gi-Oh! Does have big advantage in Elixir. 5:10 to go.
Alright, well now Yu-Gi-Oh! Did pressure Line a little bit, but look at the time.
This might be the last chance for Yu-Gi-Oh!
30 seconds left, and now we know what's gonna happen with this, with the Bar Barrel.
There's another Dragon all the way towards the back. Line is just making fun of his opponent with that Bar Barrel all the time.
Alright, now this time Line focuses and forces that Miner poison.
Offensive poison coming out from Line, trying to get the HP down onto the tower. And the time is up, charges in with that snowball, but not enough damage. Line will come back and have a 1-1.
Wow, that was a great back and forth. Line with the great Bar Barrel. Also with Yu-Gi-Oh! The Bar Barrel to kind of get rid and help get rid of that Inferno Tower so the Ram Rider or the Mega Knight can kind of stay alive and maybe possibly do some damage to the Princess Tower. But at the end of the day, the minor chip damage did pay off this time, whereas it did not pay off in Game 1.
Really cool interaction between the two.
Definitely.
Yeah, because of that Mega Knight always going back on that Barbarian Barrel from Line. Couldn't really connect the jump. It was supposed to jump into the Prince or the Inferno Tower all the time, as Yu-Gi-Oh! Was having his own Barbarian Barrel so hard to delete the skeletons because you don't want your dashes or charges going into the skeletons at all, or the jump.
Yeah, right now, that moment that we just saw, that was kind of like, it could have been the breaking point for Line, but he kept his cool. even though, you know, he was forced to use a defensive miner, you know, that cycle kind of set him back one cycle. However, he was able to defend it perfectly and not allow the Mega Knight and the Ram Rider to go into the Princess Tower. And he knew he had to go down to the TKO with the timer. And on that last cycle, the minor chip damage and the poison sealed the deal for him.
Okay, Yu-Gi Art. It is 1-1. You tried both times, but this time was certainly a lot better for Line. That Inferno Tower being a little bit of pain. Is it about time you bring that Lightning along with some RG? Or you can keep a similar deck. Or even the Golem that he does like to play sometimes.
Yeah, well, you know, you said that yourself. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Loves playing all different kinds of decks. Yeah, we've seen him play the Sparky. We've even seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Play the Lava Clone. So, Lava Clone, P.E.K.K.A. Battle Ram Bandit, you know, Golem Dark Prince, Baby Dragon, Sparky, everything. So Yu-Gi-Oh! He's just up for anything. That's why it's so hard to play against him.
Same for Line. He has said in his profile and where he wrote down he's confident in anything. He's not scared of anyone, but he just wants to see how good Jack is.
No.
That's one thing. He's not scared of anyone, but he just wants to check out Jack, which he did in the previous match on stage.
And Jack got it that 2-0.
If Line can actually pull up a better one, this player, 16 years old. So far, 1 game win, 1 game loss. Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs this for Talon to go into King of the Hill. Line can close the match with just 1 more game win.
Yep.
Let's see the deck choice.
This time, Line is not going for that emo battle as he did in game 1. You saw Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of sending a message and Line is not responding. Line is in serious mode.
Yeah, Inferno Tower right now in the meta is so good against all those heavy ones, against P.E.K.K.A., against the Lava, and even the Royal Hogs coming out from time to time. Especially when there's no rage coming out from the other side. Such a good card.
Alright, we do have a slight change in the deck. Obviously, we can see the Minion, the Mega Minion, and the Dark Prince.
And you can finally bring that Baby Dragon.
Alright.
Just has to be blocked with that Bar Barrel so that the charge does not connect to the tower at all.
Both sides probably going to just have a perfect defense for now. They're just kind of testing to see what they have, and there we go. Line is just gonna put down the P.E.K.K.A. right away, seeing the Prince coming from the other side.
Unless there's anything funky.
Yep.
Seems like P.E.K.K.A. Ram is the answer for Line here.
He's gonna go in hard though.
He wants to test another dash and the charge into the tower on the bottom right straight. That's more than almost half of HP on that bottom right.
Yeah, that HP just went down straight away with the Battle Ram connecting.
Even
look at the right side! Oh no!
And the minions to survive for some extra damage, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Are countering back with his own Prince and the Baby Dragon onto the tower. Not bad. Not bad of a trade.
Yeah, definitely not a bad trade. We saw Line's units connect to Yu-Gi-Oh!'s Princess Tower, and we're like, oh my god, we were worried. However, after defending, Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a great pushback, a counter push, and it actually basically benefited him. And there we go with
the Golem. But at the same moment, Line just goes straight in with the Battle Ram. Even the minions on top with that Bandit.
Oh goodness, the Prince will die out. The Barbarian actually, that one Barbarian that connected to the Princess Tower does a significant amount of damage with the minions in the back.
That final poison. That does have the P.E.K.K.A. against the Golem, so it will break with the following up damage. Lightning just a little too late. Electro Wizard already did a lot of stuns.
Oh my goodness, 374 versus 450.
So 3 more spell cycle. Going overtime, but this charge from the Dark Prince actually did too much!
360, 374, and now the Battle Ram on the other
Line's
side.
going all in. Let's see if Yu-Gi-Oh! Can have a perfect defense. There's
look
a
at the
Prince.
top right. There we go, he pulls
Great
it.
drag.
Pulls it. They're going to get pulled all the way to the left side, so no worries for the right side for now.
I don't think Snowball plus Lightning is enough for his 374. It's going to be very, very close, but not enough.
Yeah, definitely not.
By like 10 or something. But Line is really pushing it because he knows he needs to get pushing for that offensive poison to do some more damage or something.
Oh my goodness. right now. All right, great pull to the left side once again. So right now it's just a game of pulling and defending. Oh, but yeah,
11 HP after that snowball.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh is really going to push. Line struggling to survive with his last chance.
Oh, the zap! One Barbarian.
But just where that Prince comes in, and I think Yu-Gi-Oh is supposed to just take this one easily.
No.
But it
Look at
will
this.
be without
Look at
being
this.
time. There's a
Oh
charge into the Dark Prince.
Oh!
And Line takes it on the left. Yu-Gi-Oh was not it. He was not prepared for the Dark Prince on the left. He thought he was a lot faster with his spells. Lightning did end up coming down.
But oh my
Not
God.
just in time. Dark Prince can run away and go get into the tower and spam.
Wow. That was I don't know. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that was literally too close, but the calculation was just a little bit off from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. It definitely was, unfortunately, and Line on his debut, he loses one and wins 2 back-to-back.
Even in that final crazy moment
Yeah.
of tension, he does keep it cool.
Yeah.
And knows how to win, just throws one. Okay, maybe with the charge, I can maybe make it happen. And both players just going for that all-in last second, the decisive moment.
I want to see the highlight again because I think at the end with the Dark Prince from Line, right? I think he zapped with it. I think he zapped Yu-Gi-Oh's tower with the Dark Prince on the bottom left.
Possibly if he, if
that's
he
what I
wanted
wanna
to have
see, yeah.
everything together. I think Yu-Gi-Oh was also waiting for his
Lightning.
cycle with that lightning.
Yeah.
Because he ended up using that snowball right before. That was a close one.
Goodness.
And that's going to be win for Kingzone though. A
Yeah.
match win because of that 2v2-2-0 and big comeback in that 1v1. This is the final moment.
Oh, it is
Replay.
67 versus okay. So this is the last moment. I
Yeah,
think
snowball's 56, so not enough damage. That charge.
Okay,
yeah,
no zap. Okay.
Yeah, no zap, but the lightning
Yeah.
came down onto the other side. But
Okay.
not instant, it hit the unit first.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing. I think if the lightning hit the tower first. Oh, but yeah.
Yeah, but it goes
Yeah.
on units first all the time. I think that might have been the
Wow.
difference, but still the Dark Prince was a little too fast.
Yep.
And it could not be stopped. And Kingzone running away with one more match win. Talon, unfortunately, at the last second, does not get to go to that King of the Hill. But that's not all for tonight, though. We have 2 more matches, 2 more teams coming up for the final match. Match 54, Sandbox Gaming versus Chaos Theory. Coming up next, stay tuned. Welcome back to match 54 of the season. It is Sandbox Gaming versus Chaos Theory. Team's looking really, really strong, especially Chaos Theory, but not too much for Sandbox. Actually, their match record is actually the opposite, 6-2, 2-6. Yes, Chaos Theory is really on top, beating all the teams they're facing right now.
Right now, with actually today Talon losing in that match against King Zone, is going to put them at 3-6. So right now, if Sandbox beats Chaos Theory somehow, they will actually tie the score up with Talon. So it will kind of buy them a chance to shoot for that top 4. However, Chaos Theory also, on the other hand, they're 6-2. If they lose, it's gonna tie up with Ponos, who's in second. So, like we said, first and second also matters because it's quarterfinals or semifinals. So both of these teams, they need a win, but Sandbox will definitely be having a hard time to go up against and beat Chaos Theory here.
For Chaos Theory, it is supposed to be the easiest matchup in theory for them. Because Benzer just holds that ground really heavy on that 1v1. They don't seem to be falling apart too many times, and their 2v2 also being really strong, even defeating Bren Esports, who's supposed to be having the strongest 2v2. I believe it was a 2-0 score too.
Yeah, it was.
So for Chaos, everything is falling into perfect puzzle for them. So they have already found the solution to basically everything. So if they lose to Sandbox today, that will be one of the biggest upsets in season, but that's very unlikely to happen.
Yeah, it's very unlikely. I didn't want to kind of bring down Sandbox, but the fact is a fact. The truth is a truth. Sandbox will definitely struggle to beat Chaos Theory, but I would be surprised if this goes down to King of the Hill. But even then, we have Benzer there. We have waiting in the in the lineup as the 4th player. We'll see. And Greed, we've seen him play a lot of 1v1s. His record is actually 2-1 in 1v1, but he has swapped over to that 2v2 to play with Shinchu instead of Sato, and Sato is moving on to that 1v1.
Royal Giant, Tornado Band for that 2v2. Dexter's JTV for Chaos Theory. Sato Benzer, Pekka, Tornado Band. So we have a lot of teams just staying with just one band throughout the 2v2, 1v1, and also the King of the Hill.
Yep.
I think a lot of teams are actually following that trend, just saying, okay, we just practice. Let's just make it easier. Let's just ban the same card and practice all over, and then keep that same ban for the week or something. We're seeing that from Ponos. We're seeing that from OGN, even Chaos Theory today. So that has been the ban trend, instead of, in case you are wondering why they're just keeping the same bans all the time. For Shinchu and Greed, they're actually the duo that has been bringing out a lot more Inferno Tower with the Pekka together, which is a little less to be seen in that 2v2. Instead of the giant skeleton RG, they're using a lot more Pekkas and banning Royal Giant together. I think that's also a great pattern to see. They ban that Royal Giant, forces out something like the Golem, something heavy, especially against the Southeast Asian teams, and then bring that Pekka, have that lead. As you know, Pekka versus the Golem, you know who's going to win.
Definitely, but we'll see what they decide to bring out, regardless of what their most played cards are. And on the side of Chaos Theory, you can see that JTV, he has stuck with that 2v2 throughout the whole season. He has a total of 8 games played, and we also have Dexter's going in and out, and who has actually been paired up with JTV, has stepped down for the time being. But the good thing is, even though stepped down and Dexter steps in from time to time, their record is also pretty good.
Let's see. Here's the first one. Set number 1, Sandbox Gaming. In blue bottom, Chaos Theory on top, red.
Right.
So teamwork has been the main issue for Sandbox. They're the one using the Golem this time.
Okay. And it's answered, well, they actually answered because they saw the Lava Hound as well. So here we go. What will they have for that Lava Hound?
Is it Inferno Dragon or the Tower? So far, none in place.
Alright, we do see that coming down, Inferno Tower on the side of Chaos Theory. Nothing coming down from Sandbox yet. They're confident that the Mega Minion and the Ewiz will do the job.
But offensive poison from Chaos will do minor damage to the tower, not too much.
All right, so the Dark Prince distracts the Prince while the Miner does a couple of chip damages here.
Yeah, with that charge from the Prince, it will be gone with that Ice Spirit delaying the Miner just a little bit. They really don't want any chip damage to be put in.
All right, oh, they're going to just put the lava right on the bridge because the Baby Dragon is healthy in the back. The Mega Minion to follow. Inferno Tower finally being put down. They waited for the secondary Lava Hound, and it will defend it perfectly.
Even a defensive poison to get all those pups. And pups, barely 1 or 2 damage into the Prince's Tower, but not too much. They're setting up for their own Golem push. They have the Earthquake against the defensive Chaos Theory's Inferno Tower. If they have another set of spells with them, some slows, a Lightning will be a great one to choose. Along with that Golem just deleting that Inferno Tower. Lightning, Earthquake, that's basically Golem going to the Prince's Tower directly.
Well, this time they see the Earthquake, so they have to put this.
That was a double
down.
Earthquake right now, I think. That's
I
why
think
Inferno
so.
Tower went down super quick.
And that forced Chaos Theory to put down more units that they didn't want to, and they do put it down, and they defend it pretty well. And look at the Miner chip on the bottom left, the Lava Hound and the Miner, the classic chip damage here.
Yeah, even if Sandbox Gaming did have the giant snowball, it actually came down a little too late, bringing it down to 553 with that secondary Lava Hound. Now the Lightning onto the tower, 246. That's within next Lightning range for Chaos Theory. Even before that, it goes down.
Yeah, and even the Baby Dragon taking that damage from the Lightning, Chaos Theory's Baby Dragon deletes it, and that Baby Dragon is tanking while the pups are attacking the King Tower.
And Sandbox Gaming, they're rushing through this, not really having the best setup for that Golem, but just instantly deleted by that Inferno Tower away from the own tower.
Yeah, so
they tried to do some more damage with the Miner, but the Lumberjack's already on the defense. Chaos Theory is certainly going to take this game 10 seconds.
Yeah, definitely that Inferno Tower being placed away, the double Earthquake not being able to do that Princess Tower damage definitely made a huge difference as well. Clean game coming from Chaos Theory in game 1.
Sandbox Gaming, for their 2v2 deck, I don't think it was a bad choice. But focusing on their defense and how they actually spent their elixirs onto the Golem push.
Yeah.
It was okay when they made it happen, but what they really need was one big push with that Golem. Not just minor scratches. If they can do that all the time, it's okay. But when they're taking more damage by having minor scratches onto the other side, you gotta change up something.
Yeah, definitely. You have to change up something, because when you change something, your opponent changes according to how, if the change was big, your opponent is going to be forced to change their cycle as well. And if you realize after a Golem or two that this cycle isn't going to work, like G-Clef said, try to make a small or a big change to force your opponent for a change as well.
Yeah, double Earthquake here. Got the tower down, but Chaos was already ready easily. Against the Golem, Lumberjack, great. Against the Miner, same Lumberjack, also great.
Yeah, and I just realized that, last game we had 3 Lumberjack bans. That we didn't see a single Lumberjack, but finally, right as we noticed that the Lumberjack is not banned, it comes out right away. Timeout.
Sandbox, they know that because they have been failing to achieve a victory in set number 1 and 2v2 so many times back and forth, they really want to have this win right now, because they know who's winning on that 1v1. Benzer is supposed to go against anyone from Sandbox, and very likely, you know what the result is going to be. Of course, upsets can happen, but I think he's the strongest player in the entire Asia League right now.
For 1v1s,
Yeah, for 1v1. So Sandbox Gaming, they gotta use something right now and grab that win in set number 1. I can totally read why they're using timeout this early. Because if they don't grab this 2v2, maybe the end of the story by the end of set 2. Yeah,
that is very likely here. But you always have to remember who is on the other side for Chaos Theory on that 2v2. We have JTV and Dexters, and these two are basically, one of, I'm not going to say they are the best, but they are one of, the better 2v2ers here, even though it's always been JTV and then either Dexters or like the swaps happen, but still, their teamwork is so great that even with that one-player swap going back and forth, they're very solid.
No tornado. Maybe we'll see continuous action from the lava. Let's see, even after that timeout, Sandbox Gaming, it is their time to actually pull something unique, pull something new. so far throughout the season. It hasn't been their season so far.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
Yeah, both lava. This makes sense, but what are the follow-ups? Very likely they will have the Inferno Tower, so lightning is a must for both teams, or even the freeze is okay.
Alright, we'll see what they decided to bring out here, but the Lumberjack will get rid of the Dark Prince, and now it will drop the rage for the Lava Hound to kind of get sped up, but it's not going to make a huge difference here. The first initial attack usually is defended well here, but that minor chip coming in from Chaos Theory.
Yep, about the same as the poison coming down from Sandbox in offensive mode. The fact that Chaos Theory can actually save up just, it's about the same elixirs, I would say. But after the first Inferno Tower, there is that Inferno Dragon coming down from Sandbox.
Right, they're actually opting to stagger the Inferno Tower and the Inferno Dragon. Let's hope that this small change works and helps them out.
Lightning from both sides.
Yep.
Lava does follow up. Chaos Theory, they have a lot in defense. 2 Mega Minion with the Baby Dragon does clean up the pups, okay. But instead...
And the Miner follow-up also. So right now the 2 Mega Minion and the Baby Dragon locks onto the Miner, which is going to allow the Mega Minion to actually delete the Baby Dragon.
An easy one to be held. Some more damage from Chaos Theory certainly coming out. And their timing of that lightning was incredible. The second shot would have been a dangerous spot, but just once they were willing to take that damage.
Alright, the Inferno Tower put down this time around. They're gonna match it.
I haven't really seen the freeze too much. I wouldn't even be surprised with even if there is a clone coming out from either side.
I think either the freeze or the clone, you know, they're gonna save it for the right timing. Right now, I guess it's not the right time. But look at Sandbox's bottom left tower. It's a little bit lower, but still, this is going to get closer and closer. The chip damage is going to allow the lightning to actually do the damage, but the Miner's attention is away from the Princess Tower. The nice Dark Prince placement.
Yeah, great guards coming out from both teams, really defending against the Miner as we're getting close to that mark. 15 seconds, not too much left onto especially Sandbox Gaming's tower.
Right, that Inferno Tower definitely had to be put down there because the chip damage coming from the Miner onto Chaos Theory.
And the lightning gets the tower down, but Chaos Theory, they got their own lightning, so it's 1-1 tied right now. And some damage connecting onto the King Tower, but that doesn't really matter. It might matter, actually. That's a lot of damage with the raged pups.
Yeah, I was like, I was going to agree with you, and I saw the HP go down with the rage.
I changed my mind in the middle of my sentence. As I see the numbers going down. Yes, but follow-up, it's a lot harder to put down the Inferno Tower now. It might just be stuck on the right side of the screen.
Alright, I noticed that poison right there is the offensive poison, so it's going to do some damage to the Princess Tower as well as the Baby Dragon.
The second Lava, this one's on Rage. It's on a speed mode for a second, but now locks onto the Lava Hound. And only the Lava actually doesn't really do too much. I believe 45 each time.
Yep. Very little. This time they're kind of staggering the Lava Hound on the side of Chaos Theory to kind of make that Inferno Tower kind of die out a little bit earlier, but look at this initial attack coming from Sandbox with the offensive poison and the Miner.
All together, 639. Left not too much. Pocket Lumberjack coming just in case for that rage, but nothing really following up. Only the Baby Dragon on that rage mode.
Alright, the EWIZ is put down. I think this will be good enough for now. Mega Minion is also there to kind of help out. But now
Sandbox really grabs it. 6:39 to go, and they have their defensive spells to use. Lightning and the poison has been doing the damage with that lightning. Is that it? Lightning and the Miner connects. Another, the first great win coming down from Sandbox. Finally, after that timeout.
Definitely the timeout has worked out for Sandbox.
And they were hiding a card until the very end. It might just be... We'll never get to know. It might just be a freeze or a clone, something to help out with the lava.
I wanted to actually believe, I was looking at that now, I wanted to believe, alright, I bet you it's just a rocket, because they were doing chip damage, but then they still didn't use it at the end, so I was like, alright, maybe not.
It could have been just a secondary snowball.
Yeah.
Anything, it's just... Aiming is just fine.
I think you're more correct on the side of like whether it be like a freeze or a clone, because you know they really didn't have that huge opportunity. But
yes, they were. For those cards that are not being used, you have to think in mind, okay, they're really not using it until the end. It must be something crazy like the clone, or if it was a giant snowball, I think they had a lot more chances to just drop that earlier on. They don't really have to wait until the last second of the game.
And that double miner with the lightning, it was great finish with the poison, of course. So they went all in onto that tower at the end. They knew that they were ahead in the damage dealt. So great play coming from Sandbox, but now this is the last game, and this is all that matters. Sandbox needs to win this set 1.
Chaos, I think they had better setup for the Rage, but the lightning was really the key for Sandbox, and it comes down to the final game of the set. Let's see who takes this 2v2. As Dexter's JTB, just lava on and on for the first two. Sandbox, will they change once again? And Sandbox was actually the one using a few more Hawk cycles in 2v2.
Yep. Oh, so this time Chaos Theory decides to change. It will be the Lumberjack and the Balloon, and the Lumberjack stays alive for quite a while. The Zap will get rid of the Skeletons and the Bats, but the Inferno Tower more than good enough to defend against the Balloon. The Sandbox sticking with the Lava Hound for now.
And Lumberjack, another Balloon coming to the left instantly. They have the answer. Inferno Dragon does lock on. It's going to buy some time, and a freeze for that Balloon to connect.
It does. It does.
It's just one. Even the Bats come down to make it harder to go into the tower directly.
The Miner also is being used.
Okay, Pups are being focused on the right, and guard just before the Inferno Dragon connects to the tower. So Chaos Theory, they did take some damage, but in terms of what's been done onto the bottom left, a little more.
All right, so Sandbox Gaming, basically the same deck, and Chaos Theory, they did change it up a little bit. The Balloon came to a surprise, and we now know that, well, Sandbox Gaming now knows that it's the freeze balloon, the double balloon, so we'll see how they decide to react, because the wrong timing for the Lava Hound will always constantly go with that counter balloon.
This time I believe they have the tower, not going to spend it, just the lightning, but with that rage, it's pretty fast.
Good try.
And even the Zap used for that balloon to go down. A lot of spells. That's 6, 8 for that balloon with that rage. And a secondary one. This time Inferno Tower must be put down basically.
Oh no.
Okay, they're giving them on the left. They're
yeah.
basically focusing on to Sandbox Gaming, pushing the right side. Is it going to work? Because Chaos Theory, they certainly have a lot of ways to break that Lava Hound.
Yeah, and look at that. Nice skeleton to distract the guards for a little bit until the Lava Hound pops. And great defense coming through from Chaos Theory. Now they know that all they have to do is defend, put that raged up Baby Dragon.
This is a big push and a defensive freeze just before that, but still Lava Hound is pretty healthy. And Fireball already used. Miner getting blocked by the Lumberjack, but still after the Lava Hound pop, Pups are going to connect some damage. Will it actually put it down to the tower down? And that's enough. Going overtime for sure.
But if you look, the King
Lava
Tower
to the right.
Yeah, King Tower is very low, but yeah. Do question that Lava Hound for a little bit, but
the balloon going in straight into just before Giant Snowball to knock it away, but still the death damage connects. That's a dangerous zone, and Chaos Theory, they can always go for that King Tower.
Yeah, 1200. Yeah, it's definitely worth going for that King Tower. Unfortunately, they don't have, Rocket, Lightning, something huge. And they do have the Fireball. It's not going to be enough to kind of, chip it down. Maybe a couple more great death damage or even a drop from the balloon, it will do the job. But
Lightning, that's not enough because of the rage. Bats will just be in time. Great defense, but still secondary attack from the left. That's the balloon, and this time will be freezed. Sandbox, and they defended against it. Great Inferno Tower, dragging it away from that King Tower, but a knockback. But a too dangerous one. Too many things on the ground, and that's going to be 3 crowns. 3 crowns, bringing that King Tower down.
All right, well, great. We called out that great Inferno Tower pulling away the balloon, but it's unfortunate that it didn't pull away the Lumberjack. It didn't pull away all the other ground units towards it, because that would have bought them time. That would have bought Sandbox Gaming some time to think and put down more defensive units. However, the King Tower was so low that a couple of ground units reaching it, it already was on the brink of death.
2-1 for Chaos Theory. A great 2v2, what we've seen, the teamwork. And it just shows you Inferno Tower is a great card to go against a lot of heavy units. Once you lose that Princess Tower, when you have a lot less space to actually put that tower down, it can be very tricky and tough. And Chaos Theory, they were really pushing it with quicker cycles. Not this game though, I'm talking about the final game with that Lumberjack balloon.
Alright, well, game 1, it was pretty back and forth as well, but Chaos Theory had an amazing defense. This second game was actually very close.
Yeah, a few better lightning. I think Sandbox has some great lightning timing along with their push. And even though Chaos Theory, they did have their own Inferno Tower, after the first Inferno Tower, the second lava coming from Sandbox was the tough decision all the time. Already on to half points. That was a great fireball, but after that, it was really hard to get rid of everything in the air. Defensive freeze comes down, but after the follow-up was not enough.
Yeah, the Mega Mini is staying alive, and the pups kind of tanking the Princess Tower allow the Mega Mini to help the pups get down the Princess Tower. However, look at this damage on the King Tower. It's already so weak, and this is the last point.
Yeah, let's see all the Lumberjack and the guards.
And the Miner.
They're still pushing. Yeah, I saw the Barbarian actually also almost like finishing up.
Ooh.
Even that giant snowball was a little dangerous. It was actually knocking it back from the Inferno Tower. If it was just a little bit towards the bottom, it could have actually connected into the King Tower.
Yeah.
So Sandbox, they had nowhere else to go with that kind of push. Chaos Theory with that first win, leading the entire match, but Sado comes out here.
Well, you do see his record. Even though his 1v1 is 1-4, his King of the Hill is pretty amazing. 7 wins and 3 losses. Maybe that's why they wanted to kind of switch things up. I'm pretty sure, like you said, Sandbox wanted that 2v2 as a victory, just in case Sado can't beat Benzer. But even with the switch, you know, Benzer is just too strong.
Yeah, Benzer.
Oh my god, 6-2 and 5-1.
Yeah, that's King of the Hill, that's game score. But 1v1, that's set score, guys, not game scores. So there are lots of 2-0s and 2-1s in that win of 6. As Sado does have some Royal Hogs along with that flying machine.
Yeah.
Which Benzer also uses not too many times, but Benzer's got his mortar deck, and that's been destroying everyone basically. The mortar deck, the hog decks, the cycle decks, cheap cycle decks. That's what keeps Benzer so strong in this matchup. Will he continue the streak? Sado, I think he's not out of the question here. Let's start that 1v1.
Yeah, we have actually, you know, you mentioned the Royal Hog coming from Sado. He has used a little, like, different versions of the Royal Hog. Like, he even included the mini pack at one point with his Royal Hog deck. But we'll see what Sado will bring out here. The princes do come out here on either side.
So far, just minor prince.
Yep.
That's one of the most common. Talking about common, uncommon card. Sparky coming straight down from.
I'm gonna be honest. Today, Sparky is common. We have seen multiple Sparkies come out today. Minion Horde. We'll probably get a couple hits there.
Just a little, not too many scratches.
Yeah, that was exactly 2. Giant. Oh, there we go. The mortar deck that you just mentioned and talked about with Benzer.
Yeah, mortar miner with that prince.
Yep.
Benzer is looking for that cycle. Goblin Giant is actually really good against it.
Yeah, even with the Dark Prince landing onto that, it's going to, you know, easily allow the Goblin Giant to cross the bridge here.
But in terms of quicker cycle, Benzer, when he switches into defense mode and just keep that miner chip damage onto the tower, Sado has to be careful.
That miner is just getting 100% full value. It was not distracted, it was not spelled, anything. Oh my,
Straight damage?
Oh, he's allowing that connection to happen.
Sado's waiting for his chance, certainly. Maybe just waiting for one big Sparky push.
Oh, he's just going to change lane, allow that to just go down. But I don't think this is worth it because now Benzer sees Sado not countering his mortar, so he just saved up straight away as well. And mortar was just 4 elixir versus that 6 elixir, including that Princess Tower almost going down.
What's hard for him is that minion horde in the sky. That's just destroying the Sparky. Sparky doing some work, but the minions does not get taken off. You need some hunter, you need some follow-up along with that giant snowball. It doesn't directly just take it out. And wrong prediction.
Yep.
And that's going to be basically tower down with that miner. Just 2 HP, but a long snowball, and he can't finish it up.
There we go. But now Benzer is going to start putting down the defensive mortars and just full out defense. Oh my goodness. Yes, I think Sado kind of knew that, you know, he had an idea. He wanted to switch things up, but it did not work out.
So the Dark Goblin placements,
also
awesome when the motor is in defensive mode, all the way onto the right side or the left side when the motor is all the way near the bridge. Have that Dark Goblin towards the center. Benzer just outplaying the opponent. Sado, he knew at the moment, okay, this one's going to be tough. But I would actually say Sparky. I'll just straight out say it with honesty. Giant Goblin with Sparky, you're expecting a heavy deck from the opponent, but Benzer is nowhere close to be the one to actually use those heavy decks. Of course, he does have history, but in terms of what he uses the most, you would expect a lot of Hog decks, a lot of chipper decks. So I don't think this was the best choice coming out from Sado in Game 1. Certainly knowing what he had planned in Game 1, we can see some changes.
Yeah, because Benzer, like you said, he did use like Royal Giants deck once, but like, you know, that's not his thing. Everybody knows that. So we'll see. I think Sado definitely should agree with you and change the deck to kind of fit to go up against Benzer a little bit more with his deck.
It is true if you can break free with that Sparky just once, it's totally possible. But the deck he was up against, even if the Goblin gang, if they surround the Sparky doesn't one-shot them. Like when they surround them, of course. And it takes a long time for Sparky to charge up for the next shot. It was going to be a tough matchup regardless. I think Sado really knew by the time Benzer put down that second mortar. That's why he kind of had the tough time. Okay, let's try something else on the other side. Didn't work in Game 1. Let's see what Sado can pull off. Benzer just making that game look a little too easy.
Right. Well, the P.E.K.K.A ban obviously, kind of gave a clue away that Sado wanted to play somewhat of a heavier deck.
Yeah, I think that's exactly why he brought that. He was basically drawing out Benzer to play, okay, Golem is a trend right now. Play Golem.
Yeah.
But it's Benzer.
Yeah. The Rascals and the Miner, Spirit Goblin onto the other side. This is pretty good right now, but the Rascals won't do too much. It does get cleaned up by just that Mega Minion, and the Prince also does that, but the Miner chip damage, we know Benzer, he's happy with just chip damage.
Yeah, he's happy, and he's going to something very similar. So Sado does bring out, and one tick away, so it's not actually going to connect to the tower. A small mistake coming out from Benzer here.
Still, either way, we noticed that it was going to be very similar. Yeah, we saw the Rascal, nothing too different.
But it actually, because it's 1 square away, never mind, the Earthquake comes anyhow. Sado really feeling it right now.
Alright, so now Benzer knows every time the mortar is placed, the Earthquake is going to be there to do the damage to the Princess Tower as chip damage and to the mortar. So, I don't know. We'll see how Benzer reacts to this.
Rascal's still too strong. We'll be getting a nerf very soon. And it will have some power down on this deck, especially what Benzer has.
Yep.
But Sado, with that Giant, which is actually one of the best cards against that mortar, against those Expos. Cheaper than P.E.K.K.A, cheaper than the Golem. Does great work on those buildings. That does direct damage to the tower.
Nice pushback with the Giant Snowball, and now Benzer very low on Elixir.
Only 3.
Oh no. Alright, but still great enough. he does have those cheaper Spirit Goblins as well as the Barbarian Barrel, and he could opt to that Goblin Gang once again.
But even before that Mega Minion, Sado had 2+ Elixir at the moment. Benzer should be just turning into a defense build. There's a big giant.
Oh, now he knows. Sado knows he's a little bit ahead in Elixir. He's going to put everything down to try to get and force a push here. Giant does go down. Ooh, oh, look at all this. Goblins.
So many goblins against. So as long as Benzer gets rid of that Dark Prince, they should be okay. The Prince is just going to hit on Goblin once at a time. It's going to take a long time to break through.
And this time around, that Prince was very nicely placed and did get rid of the Miner from Benzer without taking any single damage. So now Sado is trying to make this counter push happen, but we can always see the Rascals come down. We can always, if Benzer wants, could pull the Giant or the Prince with the defensive mortar. Yep, like he's doing right now. Buy some time.
And Sado's not really finding the best push, along with that Giant Double Prince to have the Earthquake follow up together, because he would love to have Earthquake, and even spending a Zap there to delete the Goblins.
Oh, nice placements for that Dark Prince once again. So twice in a row, Benzer's Miner has been blocked by the Princes.
But still, if you go overtime, as this minion order is basically drawing out either a Zap or the Snowball coming out from Sado.
Alright, once again, the mortar is unfortunately not going to connect to the Giant, to the tower, and now the Giant will push. But there we go with the Earthquake. Whenever the mortar is placed down, and Sado has
spent a lot of elixirs, even an extra Zap in it.
Alright, so yeah, the Earthquake chip damage as well as the Zap, but it's still the cheap units will distract the Prince, will distract all the other units, and destroy the Giant, destroy the Prince, and now Benzer is not giving any time for Sado to breathe.
Okay, Sado does have 2 minutes to work on this. At least the Earthquake is doing damage to the tower every single time.
Ooh, nice. So this time, Sado does get rid of the minion horde right away. And the Earthquake. So now, Rascal Girls will still be alive, but very weak, and this is good enough, more than enough to distract
Benzer with that Miner. This push will be actually quite scary, but great Dark Prince placement there.
That's 3 in a row. Right. Well, we have 1 minute and 20 seconds, and Sado does get a little bit of chip damage with the Earthquake, but not good enough. Not yet. Only 1 minute left. How many more cycles can he do to at least tie it up here? And this time, the Earthquake actually is just not even going on to the Princess Tower. Oh no, Sado, you need every chip damage that you can get.
Problem will be this Miner. You can't have a perfect prediction every single time when the tornado's banned. Benzer really using that tornado ban to his advantage. This time motor away from that bridge, so that the Earthquake does not catch on to every single unit. Okay, Sado decided to push onto the units, the Rascals only basically, and the tower.
Alright, well this time the mortar being alive is going to definitely distract everything. And the Miner also, once again, connects to the Princess Tower, unfortunately.
This is still the motor from the last cycle.
Yeah.
As 25 seconds, Benzer's waiting to put down that next mortar. Sado really needs to push with that Giant, but it's just not happening. Only damage that's going in right now is the Earthquake. Can he make it happen? Some changes. There's that Snowball, but Sado's feeling it. We saw his face. This is not going for him at all. Benzer with that Miner chipping away. 5 more seconds. And it's going to be 2-0 for Benzer. And Chaos Theory takes the match again and again.
And again. And Sado, you saw his face. He felt how it feels to go up against Benzer. He tried this. He tried that. It didn't work. Benzer, a clean 2-0 sweep. He gave us a thumbs up. Good game.
Yep, good to see that last game with those Rascals, because what a moment for Sado. It's a very, very tough moment, as he just found no dent in the armor of Benzer. It was just not breaking through. Only the spell damage a little bit, and when that tornado is banned, Miner seems to be the best weapon. Have the skills to defend everything, your Miner will eventually connect to some more damage compared to the opponent's spell. But this deck will get that major nerf with that Rascal. Let's see if that actually changes anything.
Yeah, and you know, maybe it'll change the results, because yesterday it was all Group B win. today on a Sunday, it's all Group B win once again. So right now, 2 days in a row, it's just been Group B just getting all the wins and taking away Group A's wins.
Yep. Even within the groups, we were saying Group B has some real crazy competitions. And I think what makes them a little stronger in general compared to Group A, not every single team of course, is because Group B's got their aces in the team. Stronger 1v1, I would say.
Yep. And now
updated standings, Chaos Theory 7-2. I think they are just locked in for that playoff unless they lose in a row.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is going to happen at all. Like Ponos is, of course, Ponos and Kicks, they're threatening the top spot, but they are guaranteed for that playoff.
Yeah, so until Game With or Chaos Theory on both sides, right? Until they start and they get that 1 loss to get that 3 loss to tie up with Ponos and Kicks. If that doesn't happen, no matter how many games Ponos and Kicks wins, they're not going to catch up to Chaos Theory. And if you look at the end of Group A also, then Nation Gaming and Sandbox, they're both tied up at 2-7-2-7. So that's also going to be a duke and a battle to see if they are able to make it to the top 4.
Next week, Week 7. Exciting news is that the patch will hit very, very soon as the end of the season comes within even, I think we have like 21 hours left of the season. And when that patch hits, maybe we'll see a few different things as the patch is pretty wild. E-Barbs.
Oh, no.
E-Barbs, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think they're going to come out. But maybe with the higher chance in terms of DPS, I've heard they are just slightly buffed, stronger in damage, but slower in attack speed. Maybe they will change some things. I just hope they make it into either 2v2 or 1v1s, because we barely ever close to never see them.
Yeah, you know, I'm not going to even want the heal to come out, but E-Bars with the update, maybe just once. We saw wall breakers. Come on, guys.
And it failed.
Well, it did, yeah. But E-Bars will get a buff and then maybe come out and then fail, and then we won't see it again.
Well, there will be lots of tries, especially when there's a patch in the first week of play, which is one of the most important week for Asia here. And I think it might actually turn some things around where the lower teams can actually have a higher chance when they can figure out the meta a little sooner, what's the strongest deck in this meta with the latest patch. That's going to be the real key. Or it might just be the same stronger teams just finding out a lot sooner than the other teams. Exciting times for Clash Royale as we have Asia, West, the China playoff happening right now and the next week. So just tune into everything. There's so much to watch right now. I can't even sleep.
Seriously.
And I love it so much. That's it for us, though. Week 7 is waiting. E-Barbs. E-Barbs. Guys, I'll see you on ladder. See you next week.